On Bettor Sports Network.
What is going on, everybody? Oh, it's good to be back. It is so good to be back. Thank you all for your patience, everybody involved, from the top to the bottom and everybody in between. Technical difficulties kept your boy off the air last night. And trust me, I was disappointed. What a night in the NBA. We had 10 games, all kinds of action going on. We were going to break it all down for you, but we are back. Good news. The internet guy that came out was a badass, and he upgraded my entire thing, kind of like Lisa Ann upgraded my entire thing here. We're getting it dialed in here, folks. We're getting it super dialed in. So obviously, we got a lot to unpack here. We've got Matt Donnelly joining us at 7:30. We've got Johnny VTV joining us at 8:30. And until 7:30, it's me and your boy. Now, tonight is Thursday Night Football, obviously. High-profile matchup, finally, here between the Ravens and the Buccaneers, about 24 miles from where I sit right now. I'm in Largo. Obviously, they will play in Tampa. So we will get to all of that. Jamar Chase, we know he's got a hip injury. He's out 4 to 6 weeks, okay? We know this. I've got angles galore on this. Waiver wire thoughts, who benefits, who is hurt. The whole thing. So sit tight for that, because I want to get the NBA prop bets out here before these games start tipping off, and allow you some time and optionality here to go make a move if you so choose. So let's get to the huge game here tonight. It is the Dallas Mavericks and the Brooklyn Nets, and Luka Doncic is at 32.5. I'm going over this number, and it's minus 110 to the over. It's an extremely high number, folks, but it has to be, because the Nets defense is a mess. Ben Simmons is a shell of himself. It's you watch him play, and to a degree, it's like he forgot how to play basketball. I mean, he's out. I mean, he like airballed a runner last night from the free throw line, like didn't even draw rim. Defensively, racking up all kinds of fouls, fouling out of 2 games, right? I mean, basically, he's just sidecarring dudes on their way to the hoop right now. He's not stopping anybody. He's not staying in front of anybody. He's not blocking shots. Look, and I'm not mad at him. Okay, I'm not mad at him. A lot of the messaging out of Brooklyn is everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. I'm listening to that, because he took all last year off for a variety of reasons. He got cut at the end of last season and is back for an injury. I'm impressed that he's back even playing right now. I did read on Roto World that he is not expected to have a minutes restriction tonight, which is outstanding news, because he appeared to wrench his back at some point last night and was able to stay in and play and all that kind of stuff. So, like, his health is fine. He's just not ready to play top-level basketball yet, and that's okay. So I am buying the everybody calm down, let's give it some time. That time is going to run out at a certain point, but we're not at that point yet. They've played 4 games. But check this out. Number ones are torching the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, getting back to Luka here. We're going over 32.5. And in terms of Luka here, all these number ones are torching the Nets. Simmons, is out here, and he's just getting absolutely barraged with points by these other number 1 players. Giannis Antetokounmpo last night had 43 freaking points last night. Simmons wasn't on him the entire time, but he was on him quite a bit. Ja Morant the other night, 38 points. How did Simmons foul out of that game a couple of nights ago? Ja Morant baited him into the 6th foul of the game. Bye-bye, DQ. Pascal Siakam hit the Nets for 37 points. And Brandon Ingram hit the Nets for 28 points. The number ones are going off against the Brooklyn Nets, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Simmons is not going to stop Hurricane Luka, okay, from reaching shore, from scoring, however you want to put it. And it is a bright lights game. You know what I'm saying? Hello, Luka. We're talking about Luka in New York. Hello, Brooklyn, as they say. I like that. I like the big stage factor here. The Nets are on the second of a back-to-back. The Mavericks will be rested. That helps us out here. That helps us get over 32.5. The flow for Luka, he's gone under this number once, but he's been in overall 3 games. I can tell you that, because the Vegas lines have adjusted and gone up on Luka here. His flow is 35, 32, 37. He's living in the 30s. Can't help but score 30 points. And we've talked about this. There's so many people scoring 30-plus points per game in the NBA right now that 30 is the new 25, at least early in the season, and we'll see how it plays out. Last year against Brooklyn, Luka averaged 32.5 points per game, okay? The number that we're at right here, and that was in 2 meetings. And I bring that up like we're on the number, but 32.5 is a crazy high prop bet for an NBA player. And he was at this crazy high number last year against Brooklyn. And simply Luka Doncic is an unstoppable freak of nature, right? He is my prediction to win MVP. And I'm not saying he's going to make a Heisman statement tonight, necessarily an MVP, although he might. If he goes 40, 10, and 10, and they win in overtime at Brooklyn, that's an MVP type of statement. But I see a big game here, okay? I don't know about 40, 10, and 10, but I know he's going over 32.5. Let's talk about Kevin Durant, his adversary. I have Kevin Durant having a real good game tonight as well. His number's 28.5. I'm going over that number. It's minus 125 to the over, so a little bit of juice for you, to lay this out, but I like it anyway. Like Luka, and I told you when Durant was playing Ja Morant recently that this was going to be a Durant game. It happened to be a Kyrie game as well, but I told you this is going to be a Durant game. Not that he doesn't like Ja, but the guys get up for these matchups. This is not just another team. This is not just another superstar. This is Luka, okay? Durant's going to get up for that. He is not going to want to be outdone in his house by Luka, and he might be, but we're going over 28.5 right here. The Nets are 1-3 on the season. Durant is super hyper competitive, and we're going to get a big one tonight. I don't know if they're going to win or lose, but what I know is that we're going to get a big one from Durant. He ain't going out like that. The Mavericks wing defenders, obviously they did a number on CJ McCollum. We kind of tipped you off to that the other night. Liking Trey Murphy and not liking Jonas or CJ, who the Mavs kept down. Kevin Durant is sort of matchup proof. Go ahead, put DFS on him. Go ahead, put Reggie Bullock on him. Okay, he's 7 foot with top 10 skill all time, with a wetter and handles, and so if you harass him a little bit, all right, so he shoots, 12 of 25. Okay, we're getting there, right? But these guys can shut down particular players, but not Kevin Durant. I see Kyrie Irving having a rough night tonight, or maybe not as good of a game as he typically has, going up against Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock because they're long wing defenders. And again, Kyrie can get buckets. He's a mismatch as well, but not like Durant where he's a 7 foot. And basically, you just hope that Durant misses, right? At some point there, it comes down to you're at his mercy. Kevin Durant's flow here as we try to go 32, 27, 37, 33. We're over this number in 3 out of 4, right under the number in that one game. And the Nets are in trouble, folks. Let me make a broader point about this team, and it actually helps to personify Durant going over this number. The Nets are in trouble until Seth Curry and TJ Warren come back. Curry's on the comeback trail, but he ain't coming back tonight. They don't have enough scoring around Durant and Irving. Simmons gives them nothing offensively. We know this, okay? And Simmons scoring 5, 6, 8 points a game creates a hole in your lineup and a math problem for your lineup. And Joe Harris isn't going to play tonight, right? He can't play back-to-backs yet. So they're without Curry, Warren, and Joe Harris tonight. That's a problem. And it's probably advantage Dallas, to be honest with you. But this Kevin Durant has to score big. Kyrie has to score big. They have to, or they're going to get blown out of the gym. These guys have to literally go for like 70 points just to keep their team afloat right now. Advantage us in terms of Kevin Durant going over his number of 28.5. Again, in the 7:30 game that will take off on TNT about 20 minutes from now, Spencer Dinwiddie, 15.5 points. I'm going over this number, folks. He's a minus 110 to the over here. Spencer Dinwiddie, of course, guard for the Mavericks. He entered the starting lineup with Jalen Brunson going up to New York. We have a former team angle at play here, and it's very strong this time. He tore his ACL while with the Nets, and they kind of sort of bailed on him after that, right? And he's going to be hyped up tonight. It's a guy against a team that had him, let him go, probably could have made a stronger push to keep him, but they didn't. That's in his brain. and he's clutch, and he's a rise to the occasion type of guy. So I like Dinwiddie's spot, the motivation spot, the focus spot. He's the number 3 in Dallas behind Luka and Wood, so he's going to get the shots. He's just in the pecking order where we can get to 15.5. And we are trending in the right direction in terms of Spencer Dinwiddie. His points have gone 15, 15, 24 in the last game. His shots have gone 11, 13, and 15. So it's all like trending upward. We've got a really good matchup tonight against the Nets, who are a lousy defensive team. And the Nets defense, by the way, is going to be preoccupied with Luka Doncic and Christian Wood. And I believe Dinwiddie is going to have a lot of good looks in this game. And it would not surprise me at all if he were the Mavs' second leading scorer in this game. Frankly, in terms of Christian Wood, he's due for a regression, a correction. I mean, he's just absolutely killing it every single night. And he's a great player. Maybe that continues. But I could see Dinwiddie for tonight against his former team spiking and having a really strong game and safely going over 15.5. More NBA props for you here. We'll get to Thursday night football prop bets here in just a moment. I want to get the NBA stuff out in advance. We've got less time between now and the football game than we do between now and the basketball game starting. So I want to start here. De'Aaron Fox, 25.5 points tonight is his prop. And so I'm going over this number. It's minus 130 to the over here. So action coming in on Fox going over. Mike Brown, okay, and if you're a De'Aaron Fox manager, you should be very, very excited because, and by the way, Sack is playing Memphis tonight. You should be very excited as a Fox owner because you're seeing the best numbers of his career. Mike Brown, their new coach, has made a clear decision that this is going to be the De'Aaron Fox show. Win or lose, we're going with that guy, and we're going to live and die with his successes and failures. In 3 games this year, small sample, but these numbers are crazy. His shots are up from 18 to 21. His usage rate is up from 29 to 34%. His threes are up to 3 per game on 6.7 attempts. He's never even come close to those numbers. His scoring is up from 23 last year to almost 32 this year, plus 9. Wow. His shooting line this year has gone 59, 45, 71 with the field goals, threes, and free throws. This is by far the best he's ever played. He's gone 33, 36, 26 with the flow. His shots, back to Mike Brown saying it's the Fox show, 21, 23, and 20 plus in all 3 games. It's the De'Aaron Fox show. Heat a man and ride the wave here before Vegas adjusts. And I know it's a high number here for De'Aaron Fox, 25.5. They don't go from 23.5 to 30. They incrementally rise. And so they're still not high enough to me. So let's go over De'Aaron Fox tonight. Ja Morant is not a shutdown defensive guy. He gets chased on blocks and that kind of thing. But De'Aaron Fox is going to be able to meander and do what he wants to do against Ja tonight, in my opinion. And by the way, Sabonis, if you have him, Domantas Sabonis, this is all bad news for him. He has scored 13, 11, and 19. He's basically at this point a glorified double-double guy with it being the De'Aaron Fox show. But we're not on a Sabonis prop tonight. We're on a De'Aaron Fox prop tonight, 25.5. We're going over. Let's see here. I've got 2 more, and this is for the late games for us here tonight. And specifically the Golden State game. And it's a good one. The 10 o'clock game tonight's really good. It's the Heat at the Warriors. So I have Klay Thompson's over tonight, folks, at 15.5. And this one, I'll just read it. I'll just read it. I don't want to put extra weight on any of these, but your boy's got a vibe on Klay tonight. I just do. And Klay, to me, has been burning inside for the last few days. You know what's been going on here. He gets thrown out of the Phoenix game for woofing too much with Devin Booker. I didn't think he should have been thrown out, but maybe he said a magic word or two, and Ed Malloy kicked him out of the game. I don't know. To me, Ed Malloy's got to walk to the scores table right there and just let cooler heads prevail instead of, he kept walking with Klay. Anyway, none of that matters anymore. Klay's coming back tonight, and he's going to be super, super motivated, okay? Getting tossed, a whole, public embarrassment kind of thing. And he's been brutal the last 2 games, folks. He's 4 of 18 from the field, 2 of 12 on threes in the last 2 games, okay? He's way too good to go out like that. This is a prove you wrong type of game for Klay. Oh, you thought I was washed. You thought I was done. You thought I sucked. You thought blah, blah, blah. You thought wrong. Boosh, 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 boosh. I'm going off tonight. Klay is frustrated reportedly this came out in advance of the game the other night, that he's frustrated with lack of playing time. He wants them to lift his minutes restriction and let him go. And they haven't done that yet, but it would not surprise me tonight. After he said that, he's frustrated about it. And then you see sort of a frustration spasm with the stuff with Booker, that the team, who is smart, says, all right, let's bump up Clay's minutes here. Let's make him happy. To a degree, let's give him what he wants. You know, these training departments and strength and conditioning departments run the whole damn show, right? So let Clay play a little bit more. His flow has gone 18, 18, 8, and 2. And so, you know, he started off good. Actually, I think I got one of those wrong. It's like 18, 16, 8, and 2. A little typo there from your boy Cam. But so it's like not all bad. Like, oh, he's been dreadful for 4 games. No, the first 2 games he was getting buckets. And the last 2 have been weird. So 2 bad games in a row for Klay Thompson. As great of a player as he is, come on, man. You know how this goes. It's a home game. The Heat are in the second of a back-to-back. Come on. You already see this, right? Klay Thompson, 3. Stop. Klay Thompson, 3. 13-1 Golden State run. Third quarter. Timeout, Spo. You already know that it's coming. Okay? And by the way, because Steph has had these 2 lousy games and he got kicked out of the game, and because Golden State is a whole vibe, a whole family thing, right? They love each other out there. They didn't even suspend Draymond Green for slugging Jordan Poole, right? Didn't even suspend him, right? Like, they take care of their guys. They take care of their own. And Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, all these guys are going to be looking for – maybe not Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole may be a different little story. But those 3 guys are going to be looking for Klay tonight. Dribble handoffs. Hey, let's find Klay. Steph coming up, you know, on sort of a you know, after the fact break, and, you know, the defense is settling. Let me find Klay here. Pop, quick 3, right? I think they're going to be looking for Klay tonight. And Klay's going to be cooking tonight. Okay, so over 15.5 on Klay Thompson. I like it. And then one more. I got the other splash brother here. I got Steph Curry at 25.5. I'm over, and it's a minus 135 to the over. So some sharp money coming in on Steph, going over and or off tonight. I wanted to say that in case that matters to you. This is a big-time motivation spot for Steph. The Dubs have lost 2 of 3. They got beat by 29 points in their last game. And Steph is rolling. He's averaging 30 a game. And his flow has gone 33, 34, 33, and 21 against Phoenix the other night. But he was 4 of 9 on threes in that game, and he didn't suck like his team did, and they got run. So he was probably trending for another 30-point game had they been close and it been a competitive fourth quarter. Career against Miami, Steph is 24.8 points per game, right around our number here. And 2 years ago against Miami in 2 meetings, he averaged 30.5 points per game. So I'm on Steph Curry, the over at 25.5 later on tonight. Klay Thompson over 15.5. Splash Bros unite tonight. De'Aaron Fox over 25.5. And then in the 7:30 game of interest here, the Mavericks at the Nets. I've got Dinwiddie over 15.5. Durant over 28.5. And I've got Luka Doncic at 32.5 and the over. So let's get to some inactives right here for the Thursday night football game. And I can tell you, first of all, that Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews are good to go for this game. What they do in this game is maybe another story. But Bateman is active. Is he playable? I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like it to me. If you're desperate, maybe. But you know, Tampa Bay is without many defensive backs tonight. They're without Carlton Davis. They're without Sean Murphy-Bunting. They're without Antoine Winfield. But Lamar Jackson is still the quarterback, and Lamar Jackson has been dreadful throwing the football of late. Does not inspire a lot of confidence right here. It does not. So it's the best I got for you. If you have to play him, play him. If not, hold him out, and you got to have a better option on Sunday. And we know that Thursday night football games, like a lot of times you tune in, you're excited. It's just a lousy game. Like, you know, in this situation, I would say, no, don't jump it. You know, I feel better, a lot better about Gus Edwards, and I'll explain in a minute. Mark Andrews is active tonight. And I do like Andrews with the minimal game last week. No Antoine Winfield. Shorthanded in the secondary to me does matter to him because I know Lamar's going to throw him the ball. I mean, he didn't last week, but I figured that can't happen 2 weeks in a row, right? It can't, right? Tell me it can't. I don't even have Mark Andrews in any of my leagues. I don't draft tight ends that high. If you're why not? He's a great player. Yeah, he's a great player. I don't draft tight ends that high. I don't. I just don't. It's a rule. It's a rule I got. I mess around with the Dalton Schultzes and the 5 to 10 guys, the Dotson Knoxes and guys like that. Don't hate. Okay, so I'm trying to find the inactives here, and that's what we know so far. But that's really in terms of tonight's game. Like Julio Jones is going to play. Like who cares? Like Julio Jones sucks. Like he never plays, right? So for the Ravens, Calais Campbell, Josh Bynes, Jalen Armour Davis, Mike Davis, Ben Cleveland, and Tylan Wallace. Okay, a whole bunch of really doesn't matter. Cameron Brate is out tonight. Guard Luke Gedeke, Akeem Hicks, and then the aforementioned DBs that I talked about. Brate being out. I do have a Cade Otton opinion. It's kind of a fun name to say. So I tell you what, let's dive into some props right here. We'll have Matt Donnelly joining us right around the corner here from the Dynasty Vipers. It's Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Live. Kind of a tasty matchup tonight, right? Ravens and Bucks, kind of tasty, tastier than we've had, at least. It's like we're going from skirt steak to sirloin, right? A little bit of an upgrade here tonight. Gus Edwards, 44.5 rushing yards. Let's go over this number, folks. I think the Bucks are getting too much credit here, their run defense, because their run defense is dilapidating. I'll make that point in a minute. We're going over here, minus 115 to the over for Gus Edwards. Get on the Gus bus, people, before Vegas hikes this number. And that hike is going to begin with next week's game. Last week, 16 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns for Gus Edwards. 16 carries in his return game off of ACL after the J.K. Dobbins re-injury of the knee thing is a huge sign. It's a huge sign that he is good to go. Green light. Probably could have had more touches, probably being a little conservative even with 16, but 16 in your first game back, very good sign. That's the volume we're looking for. I didn't think the number would be that high. I most definitely did not. I thought 10, 12, 13 carries, split the whole thing. No, it was Gus Edwards' time. He's the dude, okay? Now, the Baltimore Ravens have run for 150-plus yards in 6 straight games. 150 plus on the ground in 6 straight games. This is who they are and what they do. And Gus Edwards is now the leader of that pack. The Bucs run defense is not what it once was. And I don't think Vegas is hip to the numbers I'm about to give you. You're like, of course they are. They've sweat every number, right? Well, then they ignored it because Tampa Bay over the last 4 games has allowed 189, 151, 77, and 173 on the ground. Those are not total yards or passing it. 189, 151, 77, 173. Massive numbers. We got to get to 45 with Gus Edwards, the number 1 RB for the most run-happy team in the National Football League, with a quarterback, by the way, is really struggling the football. Hello. Ding, 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 ding. The bells should be going off here, people. And the Ravens want to run. They do. On the road, Brady, keep him on the bench. We'll run clock. It's all there. It's all there. Let's talk about Tom Brady here. Tom Brady at 282.5 passing yards. I'm going under. And it's minus 115 to the under. So flat there. Have you seen Tom Brady play lately? Just the eye test speaks to how is he going to get to 282 tonight? How? Is there a Brady resurgence about to happen? I would say unlikely because if you can heat up Tom Brady, like it's Baltimore's pass defense, right? Okay, we got to look at Brady critically here, right? Like it's usually a sweet spot here. But the number's high, 282.5. And if you can heat up Tom Brady, you win. It's always been that way. Giants, Eagles in the Super Bowls, anyone? And he's been giving up on plays way too soon this year. He can't move anymore, okay? And he's making business decisions. A lot of throwing the ball away, a lot of just plain bad throws, overthrowing your guy, throwing it at his feet, all that kind of stuff. And if you heat him up, he doesn't want to get hit. He makes business decisions. I've seen it all year. You're going to probably see it tonight. I anticipate it like it's what I've been seeing all year. So tonight's going to be different. Okay, why? Baltimore can heat up Tom Brady. Baltimore is 6th in sacks at 20 in 7 games. 6th in sacks, going up against Brady in the bad offensive line. Brady can't move anymore. Bad combination, folks, for Brady to get to 282.5. Can the Bucs protect? Well, yes and no. Let's dive into this. It's very nuanced. The Buccaneers are allowing 10 sacks in 7 games. That's outstanding. It's second in the league. It's awesome. It's elite. But here's the thing. If you watch the Buccaneers play, Tom Brady is getting pressured all the time. So why aren't they sacks? Because he's giving up on plays way too soon. That's why he doesn't want to take hits. So he's making all these lousy plays to avoid the sack and a hit. And he's not trying to look out for his offensive line and try to pad their stats. I'll tell you that. He does not want to get hit. He's old. He's Hollywood now. He's got one foot out the door. Doesn't want to get hit anymore. More nimble quarterbacks would be buying time in the pocket, moving out of the pocket to extend plays. Brady cannot do that anymore. Barely ever has been able to do that. I anticipate a lot of wasted plays tonight versus that Baltimore pass rush. A lot of balls batted down at the line of scrimmage. That's the Bucs movie that I've been watching so far this season. If the Bucs did not have a pass rush, I'd be singing you a different song right now. But they do have a pass rush, a very good, consistent one. Baltimore allows 261 passing yards per game, which is dreadful. But 261 is not 282.5. Still 21 yards below the number that Brady needs to hit. Lifetime against the Ravens, one more stat for you. Brady's played against them 8 times. He averages 272 passing yards per game, again, below this number. So let's catch our first break here. We got Matt Donnelly coming up around the corner from Dynasty Vipers. Before I hit the break here, I'll just tell you the other props that I'm on. I'll give you details as we move on here. But I'm on Mike Evans at 68.5 receiving yards, over 68.5. Mike Evans receptions 4.5, going over on that one. And Cade Otton, I told you, 31.5 receiving yards. I'm going over that one as well. So I'm kind of feeling Otton, kind of feeling Evans, kind of not so much feeling Godwin tonight. I'm not telling you to go under on his stuff, but I'm just I like these other guys better. So we will catch that break right now. Matt Donnelly coming up. It is so good to be back with you all. I am Rick Kamla, and this is Bettor Sports Live.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network.
There was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out, what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have satellite.
Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And, they bring up the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't,
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right? He's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
On call with Dr. Roto.
If the Giants don't win another game this year, A, I'll be shocked. But B, I'll still think that they're better than they were with Joe Judge. Much better. Because I think Brian Dable's got a lot out of this team already. And I'm seeing what this team could be. See, that's the problem with owners and general managers. I see Nathaniel Hackett and I see a guy who can't get it done. I see Matt Rule and see a guy who never should have been hired. Disaster right away. Sometimes a good coordinator in the NFL is better. I don't even say sometimes. Most of the time, a good coordinator in the NFL is better than a college coach because the NFL coordinators, they know the system. They've been there. They've played. They've been around it. For the life of me, I don't know why Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a job yet. Deuce Staley's going to get a job. Somebody's going to hire that dude. When you've been around the game, You understand it. These college guys come, they don't know it.
Join the show with one touch of a button. It's Sports Talk 3.0 on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, we're back on Bettor Sports Live. We're about 40 minutes to kick off tonight, and we've got Matt Donnelly right now from Fantasy of Vipers, and he's also a member of the Fantasy Points Media situation as well. Matt Donnelly, it's your boy Cam on a huge Thursday night here. We got NBA action. We got Thursday night football. We actually have a matchup that when you mention the team names, you don't vomit right afterwards. What's up, my friend?
You know what? We are at that fun time of the year, whether you are an NBA fan, MLB, NHL, NFL. Heck, if you're a fan of the CFL, we got that going on too. There is sports on just about every channel you can imagine right now. So we're in that time of the season, and we do get this game sounded a lot better back in week one. Baltimore Ravens versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady and everything was going great way back when. Lamar Jackson, everything. I mean, he had like 12 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks. Now he's got 3 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. So, I mean, we've seen both these teams struggle down the stretch here. So this will be a good get-right type game for one of these teams, you'd have to hope.
So, look, we'll get into the Brady thing and the Lamar thing in a minute because both quarterbacks are heading into this game trending in the wrong direction. But the huge news, obviously, Matt, and I'm gonna take a deep dive into this right around the corner after we say goodnight to you. But Jamar Chase is out 4 to 6 weeks, man. I want to start with Joe Burrow here. Do you feel like, this is like a gut punch, or do you feel like, all right, Boyd just expands, Higgins just expands, Hurst still expands, and Joe Burrow is still going to be Joe Burrow, or do you see, the walls caving in on him here?
I think Cincinnati's going to be fine. I think Joe Burrow is going to be fine for fantasy purposes and for actually his real team here as well. I mean, I think it hurts a little bit not having Jamar Chase. It's going to hurt you one way or the other, whether you want to look at it. But you're still talking about T. Higgins, who is a top 12 fantasy wide receiver and a top 12 wide receiver in the game today. You get Tyler Boyd, who is probably the most underrated, disrespected wide receiver in the game today. He could be playing on 30 other teams in the NFL and probably be no worse than their wide receiver 2, possibly their wide receiver 1. That's how good Tyler Boyd has been. And when Chase or Higgins has missed time, it's been Boyd who has historically stepped up and filled that role. Hayden Hurst is going to have a bigger role in this offense as well. And the thing is, Joe Mixon's still there, so let's not forget about him. But since Cincinnati went to the shotgun offense there, they have been playing much more effective. I mean, their offense has kicked it up an extra gear. Joe Burrow's not getting sacked nearly as much as he was under center. I mean, this offense really started to click there prior to that hip injury or possibly core injury. I'm not sure if we're quite being told exactly what it was. I mean, he sat up because of a hip flexor. The period in which they're telling us that 4 to 6 weeks gives me more of a feeling that he could be more of a core issue. That being said, I am not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express once, so I feel that I have some medical expertise in this field.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. Okay, so let me go to look because you said a lot of great stuff right there. I'm a Tyler Boyd guy, and I love when you sang a song about Tyler Boyd. I don't have a lighter here, but I was about to light the lighter like it's a slow ballad at the end of a metal concert. But Matt, how about Joe Mixon? Do we see now a pendulum shift? Maybe back towards the running game a little bit. Can they run? Even if they make that shift that we're going to run the ball more, will they be able to run the ball effectively? Because they haven't been able to do that all year behind one of the biggest offseason disappointments, right, was that O-line, man, and they have not been getting the job done. So do you look at this as a boost at all for Joe Mixon?
I don't think it's a boost for Joe Mixon as a runner because we pretty much know what this run game is going to look like by now. There's a reason they shifted back to the shotgun type offense here. They're going to throw the ball even more than they did before. But you know what? Joe Mixon's a pretty good pass catching back, and where his fantasy value lies is in the passing game. When Joe Mixon is flirting with top 5 production, it's because of what he's been able to do as a pass catcher, not necessarily as a runner. So I think Joe Mixon is going to be fine. You may see an uptick in volume there as far as the passing game is concerned. I'm not worried about this Bengals team at all.
Matt, are you, and then just lastly here about Jamar Chase. Is there any concern for you that 4 to 6 weeks will not be able to contain this injury for Jamar Chase, because they are going to undergo other tests? Okay, when you hear other tests, what that tells me, Matt, is that they didn't like the results of the first test. So that's why you have other tests, right? And, you're the quasi doctor here because you stayed at the Holiday Inn Express. But did that part of the Chase report that they're going to continue to do tests on this, did that hit you in a particular way?
I think this is what this means here, and I would kind of defer to our very own Edwin Porras there at Fantasy Points and some other medical professions there as well. But that's telling me that if they did surgery, which they felt that surgery was on the table, it was probably at an 8-week recovery type period there. Whereas if they kind of let it kind of see how it settles and how it all kind of works itself out, maybe we're looking at a 4 to 5, 4 to 6 week kind of time frame there. So you're saying a little about 2 weeks. But as we know, that could backfire on you just as good. You may not heal the same way in 4 to 6 weeks as you would after just having the surgery and then kind of dealing with those repercussions post-op. Now, me and you, if they tell us 4 to 6 weeks, hey, you know what? It's season ending. Let's be honest. We're not recovering in that 4 to 6 week period. A guy like Jamar Chase, who is probably in his physical peak, he could probably be in that 4 to 6 week period. I think he's going to be fine that way. And then possibly an off-season type surgery will accompany that.
Right, and you hope that doesn't have to happen. But I mean, during the season, man, let's get back out there and play. Cut me up at the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? And we can have a different conversation then. We've got Matt Donnelly with Dynasty Vipers Network and member of Fantasy Points Media, hanging out with Rick Hamill right here on Bettor Sports Live. Let's talk about Thursday Night Football here, Matt. First of all right, let's talk micro in a minute. Let's talk macro first. Who do you like in the game tonight? You think the Bucs rally here in the return at home? Did you like the Ravens coming off the win against the Browns? Who do you like to win this game tonight?
Vegas is not doing us any favors, are they? This line has been moving quite a bit since the end of last Sunday. We've watched this shift from one team to the other, and I'm kind of leaning towards Tampa Bay in this contest. Nothing really stands out to me, but the injuries are a bit of a concern on the Baltimore side of things, especially that offense there. Mark Andrews, we're talking about a guy who had more rushing yards last week than receiving yards. And guess what? He only had 4 rushing yards. Then we find out he's dealing with a knee injury and some other things that kind of accompany that. He hasn't really practiced this week. So maybe that knee injury that he suffered, presumably there on Sunday, has been more detrimental to his production than we may be led to believe at this point. We know Rashad Bateman, he popped on with that foot injury again. Again, that is going to be a little bit of a concern to me, especially considering that this Baltimore Ravens offense really hasn't gotten going here in the last few weeks. Now, on the flip side, where I think this is going to make a difference is I'm not big on either one of these defenses, to be honest with you. Tampa Bay's defense is not what it's all cracked out to be. It's not the Buccaneers' defense of yesteryear or even last year, for that matter. And Baltimore's we've seen the warts in this team. I mean, the one thing they can do is get after the quarterback and pick a quarterback off. I mean, they're top 10 in both sacks and interceptions this season. So Brady is going to have to be smart with the ball, which, you know what, he's not been terrible. I mean, he's still averaging 277 yards per game. It just looks bad because he had 312 yards per game last season. But the big one here, when I'm looking at Marlon Humphrey, Mike Evans, going to be a fantastic physical battle on the edge there on the outside. But watch for Chris Godwin. If you're looking for that captain in those DFS lines, Chris Godwin in the slot. He's not going against Marcus Peters. He's going to be in the slot. I think he's running like 77% of his routes out of the slot. That is where Tom Brady and this Buccaneers team can attack. Julio Jones is going to be there for at least a quarter and a half tonight. Russell Gage, he's already out. So I don't know who the next man up is. Scotty Miller, Scotty do, Scotty don't. I don't know who. When Julio Jones goes down in the second quarter of tonight's contest, I don't know who that next guy is to step up for the Buccaneers, but I think Chris Godwin is that guy that we're going to want to watch. I think he's going to have the biggest game of them all. And now he had that ACL surgery back in January. We all know we're looking at about a 9 to 10 month period before a wide receiver even starts to feel like themselves. Well, you know what? We're at 9 months. November's pushing 10 months. We're getting a little bit closer. So Chris Godwin's season is about to start to fire up here pretty soon. I think it starts this weekend.
Matt Donnelly, a lot of you are like, hey, you're talking about Julio here like he's going to get hurt tonight again. Have you all watched Julio Jones over the last few years, going back to, 2-3 years back in his Atlanta days? I mean, my God, Matt, I flushed him long ago. Like, he can't hurt me anymore. I will not do business with him, man. With Julio Jones. He can have a fine life and all the millions, have a great life. You and I can't do business together anymore. But we're hanging out with Matt Donnelly here of Dynasty Vipers, and he's with Fantasy Points Media as well. I'm on the over on Mike Evans tonight, Matt. Watching Ravens football this year and tracking his stats on Marlon Humphrey, he's not the guy he was last year. He's just not. He's not bringing the same oomph to the football field. And so, yes, he's got a big name and a big contract, but Mike Evans, I'm a big Mike Evans guy. Not like fanboy, but just like he's like a Jose Abreu type of guy, right? Like, you cannot go wrong taking him in a fantasy league. He'll give you numbers, and they're the same numbers basically every year. But I'm over him at 68.5 tonight, Matt. I'm also over his reception number at 4.5. And so you did sing a song about Chris Godwin, but you also sang a song about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers not having a lot of options to throw to. So do you like Mike Evans over with the yards and the catches?
I'm always going to like Mike Evans. We're talking about a guy who's had like 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start off his career, and yet we don't even talk about him like he's in the upper tier of wide receivers in today's game. I mentioned how Tyler Boyd gets disrespected. You've got a wide receiver doing something that's never been done in the history of the NFL, and we don't even talk about it. We like shrug it off. Or I don't know what Mike Evans has to do to get some respect. Maybe catch a ball instead of dropping an easy touchdown like he did last week, which
that was brutal.
The game was over after that drop. That was like the third play of the game. It seemed like the whole energy was gone from that moment. Now, we love to make fun of the Baltimore Ravens and how they've allowed so many fantasy points to wide receivers this season. The last 2 weeks, though, this Ravens team has tightened things up a little bit there. They're only allowing 24.40 fantasy points per game to the wide receiver position, and that's about 8th best in the league, the 8th fewest in the last 2 weeks. So they've cleaned things up a little bit, but, Mike Evans is a different dog altogether, man. They're going to find a way to get him the ball. When you got Chris Godwin going, you got Mike Evans going, I wouldn't be surprised if both these wide receivers see 14, 15 targets tonight.
I'm with you, Matt. I'm with you all the way, especially the ditty you just sang about Mike Evans. Now, let's talk about Lamar Jackson. And, Matt, you go back a couple of weeks. We're talking about a guy who absolutely failed at the end of the Giants game with the 2 turnovers. And last week, you're expecting a bounce back type of thing against Cleveland, good matchup. They're not great against the pass, all this kind of stuff. My man had 120 yards, okay? He has not thrown for multiple touchdown passes. You got to go back to week 3, the last time he's done that. I'm not saying that, get Tyler Huntley warmed up in the bullpen here, Matt, but damn. And the Bucs are shorthanded in the secondary tonight, but, I think 210 was his prop. It's hard for me to go to attack that at all. Like 210 such a low number. Okay, like he hits 1.5 big plays. He's probably on pace to do that. But in Tampa Bay's, secondary is lacking dudes. But I couldn't get with Lamar. So what are your expectations for Lamar Jackson here tonight?
I think as far as passing is concerned, I'm with you there. I think he hits the under in this contest. You've got a banged up Mark Andrews. You've got a banged up Rashad Bateman in there. They don't have J.K. Dobbins. It's basically Gus Edwards and Devin Duvernay. And Gus Edwards, he's just came back from an ACL injury, and now he's playing on a short week. So there's going to be some fatigue in that knee for Gus Edwards as well. So I don't like this. This is going to be one of those games where Lamar Jackson is going to be the leading running back for this Baltimore Ravens team. More out of necessity. Over the last 3 weeks there, Lamar Jackson, you mentioned that, 56.3% completion percentage, 6.3 yards per attempt. Those are not numbers that are going to scream fantasy value there. If you look at his 7 games this season, so he's played, the Ravens haven't had a bye week, 1,397 yards passing. That's actually sitting behind Jimmy Garoppolo, Carson Wentz. And these guys haven't even played. Carson Wentz has missed the last couple of weeks, and Jimmy Garoppolo didn't even play in week 1 there outside of that injury there. So you look at these things. The thing that's saving grace has been he is 5th in rushing yards with 510. So that's been where the fantasy value is coming for Lamar Jackson. Passing game, it has not been there. And I think if we know that, Tampa Bay knows that, and I think they're going to have someone spying on Lamar Jackson all game long. And they've got 2 of the best sideline-to-sideline tacklers in the game in Levante David and Devin White.
It's a great point, my man. It is. Let's go back to Gus Edwards here for a minute. 66 last week, 16 carries, very promising. He's at 44.5 this week, the prop bet number. I'm going over that number tonight, Matt. Do you cringe when I tell you that, or do you think the Gus Bus can ride to the tune of 45 yards tonight against a run defense for the Bucs that has been shredded in 3 of the last 4 games? Do you like the over on Gus Edwards tonight?
You know what? I really want to say I do. I really do, because I love Gus Edwards. He's one of my guys. I've always had a thing for them going back to Rutgers there. And then I see the stat there per Eric Mooney there. The last 4 games which Gus Edwards has had at least 15 or more touches, it has either resulted in 120 yards total or a touchdown. But that means he's got to get at least 15 touches in this contest. I don't know what that knee is like right now. And that's the biggest thing right now. I want to say, yeah, he's going to get that, especially against a team like Tampa Bay. Like you said, they've been kind of hurt by the running backs the last few weeks. They've only allowed 670 yards rushing so far this season, but most of that's been coming the last few weeks there. How fatigued is that knee going to be? That is the question. That we know he was questionable coming into this, but I think that's more of a rest thing for a veteran more than anything. But I mean, it can't be easy coming back from an ACL unless he's been ready for a couple of weeks. They've been slowly ramping him up. That might be something that we don't know. But
right,
I have a hard time taking the over on that just on the short week.
Okay, interesting. Wish me luck then. We're going over on Gus Edwards tonight at 44.5. And you know that a lot of times they do that. A guy will return to practice, and then they will sort of green light him. And so maybe he's a little bit further along than we think. We shall see. I want to ask you about a random-ass trade that just went down, Matt Donnelly. And not like breaking news style. It's one you've heard about. Kadarius Toney. The Giants hit the eject button on Kadarius Toney. And I was reading on rotoworld.com, I think they do a fine job, that Kadarius Toney is going to be a factor and a threat, and look out, here comes Kadarius Toney to town. I am not buying that at all. I'm not worried about any of the current Chiefs pecking order at the wide receiver spots, right? And so I'll check up on that, let you take it from here. But how did the Kadarius Toney trade to the Chiefs with Mahomes move the needle or not for you?
Well, if Kadarius Toney's ever going to get going, we know what he's capable of. We've seen it. We've seen flashes there last season. So we know that the talent exists. It is there. And if there is a coach and an organization that can get that out of him, it is Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. That being said, you have a 6-1 New York Giants team that is desperate. I mean, desperate for wide receivers. They're pulling guys like Richie James, Devin Sills. I mean, Darius Slayton, who was left for dead here not too long ago. and Kadarius Toney apparently has been healthy. That's the thing. I mean, he's been healthy. He hurt his hamstring, then he hurt his other hamstring trying to get ready. But I cannot imagine. There's that one meme there where they're trying to stuff a guy into a suitcase. That was probably Brian Dable. As soon as he heard that Kadarius Toney could possibly get traded, because I don't think there was any hesitation on Giants' brain trust making this move. I mean, you don't often let go of a first-round wide receiver and bring in a third and sixth for fun. I mean, there's got to be something there more than meets the eye. I mean, we've heard things. We've heard rumblings, off-the-field type issues there. So I don't think this was a hard decision for the New York Giants there. More of an addition through subtraction type move for them. Now, as far as his outlook there for Kansas City, I mean, there's opportunity there. I mean, the wide receivers and the receivers that they brought in aren't the greatest. Let's be honest. I mean, you got Juju Smith-Schuster who's been doing some good things here the last couple of weeks. Travis Kelce's still there. Marquez Valdez-Scantling has shown us stuff. He showed us that back when he was in Green Bay. It comes and goes. Mecole Hardman, same thing, comes and goes. There's been no stability for the Chiefs wide receivers outside of Travis Kelce. And Sky Moore just hasn't been that guy this year. Now, this Kadarius Toney coming to Kansas City, if you are in dynasty leagues, this is your buy window right now for Sky Moore, because you got a couple free agent wide receivers that are going to probably leave next year. They're in Kansas City, opening the door for guys like Sky Moore. But Kadarius Toney, you know what? If I got an open bench spot in fantasy, yeah, okay, maybe I'll take a run at him, put him on there, see what happens, and hope for the best. But right now, I'm not holding my breath.
I mean, I like your approach. It's very sober. It's very sober. It's very walk into it, not run into it. I mean, Kansas City is the land of opportunity for wide receivers. It is, right? Because there's no definitive. I mean, they have a hierarchy and a pecking order, but there's not like he's by far the number one guy there. And I have been impressed with Juju the last couple of weeks. I definitely have. Casey, obviously, for everybody out there, is on bye this week, and so I guess there'll be more time to integrate Kadarius Toney in advance of the Week 9 game. We shall see. Let's go to Indianapolis, Matt. And Sam Ehlinger is going to take over as quarterback of the Colts. They have curbed Matt Ryan here. And they're laying 3 at home to the Commanders. The Commanders have a very middling defense to me, very navigable. And Matt, I know you're a college scout like I am. I freaking loved Sam Ehlinger at Texas. And I remember some of the narrative about him was, I don't know if the game is going to translate, right? Like he's not a good enough thrower of the football, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, the people saying that haven't watched this guy play enough football. Does he have Dan Marino's arm? No, he does not. But like, he doesn't have a flimsy like rag arm either. And he's really good with his feet. He's a really dynamic football player, Matt. So talk to me about your overall thoughts on Ehlinger and then the matchup here against the Commanders.
Well, I'll start with the fact that Ehlinger is not going to be mistaken for anyone who's going to throw the ball very often. Maybe that's improved. Maybe that arm strength has got a little bit better. We haven't really seen him have an opportunity to sling it in quite some time there. That being said, this has been the year of the revival of the backup quarterbacks, right? Cooper Rush, P.J. Walker last week. I mean, Tyler Heineke, he had his opportunity last week as well. I mean, I keep going back to one of my favorite kind of Halloween kind of horror movie type quotes here, however you want to look at it. Never trust anything that can't think for itself if you can't see where it keeps its brain. And I'm looking at Frank Reich right now because I can't trust anything Frank Reich says. Listen, he went to Matt Ryan and said, hey, we failed you. Kind of that, it's not you, it's us type thing, kind of that breakup mentality there.
Yeah.
No, Frank, it was you. You wanted Matt Ryan. You wanted to get rid of Carson Wentz. And you know what? As a football fan, we have been deprived of the Carson Wentz Bowl this week. We've been deprived of Carson Wentz versus Matt Ryan to see who the best quarterback of the two is. And it probably is Carson Wentz, let's be honest, because Matt Ryan, he has not done the trick. The thing is, with Matt Ryan, this Colts offensive line has not been good. This offensive line has failed Matt Ryan. This is one of the better offensive lines, historically speaking, the last couple of years. I mean, they were able to keep Phillip Rivers upright. He couldn't move worth a lick. So the move to Sam Ehlinger is probably to protect Matt Ryan more than anything because now Ehlinger can actually move. If he's in trouble, he can move out of that pocket where Matt Ryan probably wasn't able to do. That's why Matt Ryan took a few extra sacks. Ehlinger's not going to take those same sacks.
Matt, I love it, man. I love the passion. I'll ask you one more here and we'll let you go. Let's go to London on Sunday morning. And what puke bag are we going to get from Russell Wilson this week? And after he sucks and face plants against Jax, what excuses are we going to get this week? Let me hit you with a theory here real quick. And then I just want to tee you up and let you go with this game. Would it shock you if Russell Wilson reinvented himself in this game or didn't play in the next game, that this is just a London thing, right? As Hollywood as he has become, I'm not missing the London game. I got to expand my brand, all this kind of stuff. How do you go from reports of your demise and weeks and weeks and weeks, and then you miss a game, and then now he's saying, I'm ready to rock, I'm good to go. How do we get there? Were the injuries sort of fallacious in the first place? Like, I'm not buying this, man. This is fishy as hell to me that he went from, oh, my God, he's going to miss several weeks in a row to he's right as rain and he's playing in London against Jacksonville. Like, Matt, take it from there, man.
Well, a couple of things here. I mean, he did go to California to get that needle in his arm and whatnot. So, I mean, that helped him a little bit there. Whatever he's eating in those dangerous Subway sandwiches, maybe that's helping the process as well. I don't know. The thing is, listen, if you're in altitude, it typically helps your body recover, right? So, I mean, Denver's high enough altitude, but it wasn't quite giving him the proper recovery time. So when he's up on that airplane and getting that rehab up in that altitude, they're flying. I mean, hopefully he stretched out properly before this game, right? I mean, hopefully he did some stretches. We know that he was doing high knees and stuff on the plane right now. By the way, Russell Wilson's probably the same guy who claps after a plane lands, right? He's that guy. That's basically who Russell Wilson is. I'm with you. I mean, we've seen enough right now of Russell Wilson to know what Russell Wilson is. I think he may be losing his mind. I really do. I don't know where his head is half the time. And then as far as this London game goes, to quote another great movie there, how about Hocus Pocus here? Oh, look, another glorious morning makes me sick. Having to get up early to check those inactives. People, right now, I'm telling you right now, set your alarm for 6 a.m. if you are on that West Coast. Get those inactives because someone's going to be hurt before the game starts. You're going to be getting yourself a 0, and then you're going to come on Twitter, social media, whatever that is, and you're going to cry and look for sympathy from someone. Well, you're not going to get it here because I'm telling you right now, set your damn alarm right now. But yeah, Russell Wilson.
Go, no, I didn't mean to slow your roll. Go ahead.
No, I'm going good there. But like I said, Russell Wilson, I'm with you on this one. This is the game for the Denver Broncos. This is the fire sale. I mean, we just saw the UK Prime Minister basically shut it down. Well, you know what? Nathaniel Hackett, he made it one more week than she did, and they're in London. This may be the time where they just leave him in London if they lose this contest to the Jaguars, right? This could be it. This could be the fire sale. Bradley Chubb, he could be gone for Denver as well, won this game. If the Jaguars knock off the Broncos, I mean, there's a lot of storylines after this game that can really come into effect.
Matt, you the man. Russell Wilson went from my guy to not my guy, and it kind of happened just like that. The cheese factor is high. I don't trust that dude anymore. I think he's in it for the wrong reasons now. He's no question. So, Matt, I want to let you go, but just this opportunity to tell people where to watch you, hear you, read you, and what you got cooking right now.
Yeah, no, every week we come at you on the Vipers YouTube channel there, the Vipers Network, Amik, Tara, Major. We do our little Viper cast, talk trades, talk starts and sits, whatever you could possibly need to make sure that the fantasy lineup is set here for the following week. We got you covered there. And then on Friday nights, over on Fantasy Points, my Friday night hype show, it drops each and every week. This week, I have got a little bit of a Halloween theme going on, if you can't tell already. So I'm going to be covering, I'm going to talk about some of the games that I'm excited for, including that Miami at Detroit game, Arizona versus Minnesota, San Francisco at LA, and of course, the 6-1 New York Giants taking on maybe the most exciting team in the league right now, Geno Smith's Seattle Seahawks. So I'm going to talk about all 4 of those games in depth, give a little bit of stats, give a little bit of Halloween there, and you know me, I'll probably be 4 cups of coffee in before the show even starts.
High energy, high octane, man. Matt, you the man. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. We'll talk next week.
You betcha. See you next time.
All right, that's my guy. Outstanding information. We'll give him a clap here, ladies and gentlemen. Outstanding information from Matt Donnelly. And, not that he has to, but he agreed with a lot of my stuff, right? And the whole Russell Wilson thing, man, couldn't be more smelling and detecting of the disingenuousness with him right now. But I tell you what, let's take a break here. And I want to come back and flesh out the prop bets that I have for Thursday Night Football here tonight. I'll also give you my thoughts on who wins the game or not. Again, we're over Evans at 68.5. We're over Evans at 4.5 catches. And we're over K. Dotton at 31.5 receiving yards. And I will go into detail on why I feel that way about these plays when we come back on Bettor Sports Live.
Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Bettor Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry, okay? Talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting, I'm going to bring up personal.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at, like, Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over. Or whatever.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that you want to know why they're paranoid. They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with
It's
us.
one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory like about their family or something,
right.
Yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
it's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to my team.
Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
We're back on Bettor Sports Live. It is your boy Rick Kamla, and we're getting ready here for Thursday Night Football. It is right around the corner, folks. And let me check out just a couple of the comments out here. We got Dave Poland out here. Dave, what's up, brother? I want to circle back to a debate that you and Matt Deutsch had about a Dinwiddie bet tonight. Fausto Nick, I see you in here. Better Boss, what up, my friend? Dave Poland. And so we want you guys to get involved with the show, be as interactive as you can and want to be. You can hit the call button. It's right next to the fun button. You can hit audio or video, and you can come on in here, and we can take your call and have a conversation with you, man. How cool is that? So we're all about interaction, man. We want to interact with you. So keep getting involved and throwing out ideas at your boy. And I'll circle back to that debate, like I said. All right, Ricky Props in here. We told you already for tonight's game that we have Tom Brady under 282.5. We are going over Gus Edwards at 44.5. We are on Mike Evans here at 68.5. We're going over this one. It's minus 130 to the over. And Baltimore allows the third most pass yards to wide receivers total. Okay. 1,341 in 7 games. That works out to 191 receiving yards per game to wide receivers. If that number feels loud and big to you, it should. That's not 191 overall. That's just to wide receivers. Okay. We got to get to 69 here for Mike Evans. They allow 191.5 passing yards per game to wide receivers. Wow, right? Since Mike Evans came back from his injury, 4 games, he's over this number in 3 of the 4 games, 103, 81, 42, and 96. The 42 was that absolute dud up in Pittsburgh. At least Brady threw for some yards and, got Godwin and Evans the ball last week at Carolina. In 2 career matchups against Baltimore this year, 2 career matchups against Baltimore overall, he's at 88 yards per game, so he's over with that. Mike Evans is a big game player, like Luka, like Durant, like these guys we talk about. Like, how do I know that? Because I've watched Mike Evans' career. And I've seen him spike in games like this and come up big, play hurt. The guy's a stud, man. And this is an all-hands-on-deck deal for the Bucs. They suck right now. They're desperate for a win. And that's when your team leaders step up. That's when future Hall of Famers step up. And I think that's going to happen tonight. And like I talked about with Matt Donnelly, Marlon Humphrey's not having a great year, man. The play has dipped. And Marcus Peters is not big enough to check Mike Evans. So I like the matchup here. Baltimore secondary is among the worst in football. They're allowing 261 passing yards per game overall. We got to get to 69, folks. There's a ton of wiggle room in between there. And I like Mike Evans' chances of going over that number of 68.5. I like Mike Evans' receiving yard number of 4.5 as well. This one heavily bet, minus 160 to the over here. A lot of people are feeling a big one from Mike Evans tonight. Check this out. The Baltimore Ravens are 5th in receptions allowed. 98 receptions allowed to wide receivers in 7 games. That's 14 per game to the wide receiver position. Again, it's siloed just for the wide receiver position. 14 catches per game they're giving up to wide receivers. We got to get to 5 for Mike Evans. Yes, I like it. He's a baller. So I see him stepping up tonight. And we get a big one from Evans just overall. So I anticipate hearing his name a lot tonight, saying his name a lot tonight, and there you go. Cade Otton, the tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who is kind of low-key getting busy with Tom Brady in recent weeks. 31.5 is our low number. Going over this one, it's minus 135 to the over. Baltimore is allowing 44.6 yards per game to tight ends. And we got to get to 31. They're giving up basically 45 a game. So we're 14 off that number. That's some nice wiggle room for us that the number's not high enough. You know what I'm saying? Cade Otton's gone over this number here, 31.5, in 2 of the last 3. The flow has gone 43, 23, and 64. And so he's been well over the number twice. And he's averaging 5 targets per game over these last 3. Why the last 3? Well, Braid's been hurt and Otton has ascended. That's why we target just this zone right here. Otton played 81% of snaps last week. That's a good sign. He's going to be Cameron Braid is out tonight, so nothing's going to change there. And Brady has developed a trust in him. And it's kind of a thing. Tonight, maybe it's brewing to the tune of a touchdown. And Cade Otton is in the end zone, doing his dance, whatever. And then now it's really a thing. The guy's in the end zone. I'm not saying run to your waiver wire to pick up Cade Otton. I'm saying 31.5. Let's go get some money off of this number and go over that number. So again, NFL props tonight. I don't want to write these down here as I move and groove with you on it. So we got Otton at 31.5. We've got Evans at 68.5 and 4.5 receptions. We also have Tom Brady under 282.5, and we are over Gus Edwards at 44.5. And we have 5 props here tonight for you folks, and those they are. So I wish you luck. Wish me luck. Let's get this done. Again, I don't have the ability to play these bets, and down here in Florida, where legalized sports betting is illegal. Let me say that different. Sports gambling is illegal. They've deemed. Bah ha ha! Right? It's hilarious. But anyway, good luck. I want you guys to win your games and win your parlays and whatever you got going on tonight. So here's my vibe on the game. It's Rick Hamill on Bettor Sports Live here on the Bettor Sports Network on Thursday Night Football. Kickoff moments away. And we'll have Johnny VTV of NBC Sports Edge join us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So the vibe on the game tonight. And by the way, our basketball game here, Dallas is up 24-23 late first quarter here on the Brooklyn Nets. In a moment, we'll go into the box score and see what's going on in this game. But who you got tonight, okay? Y'all can join the show and let me know. I'll read your comments. And like I said, you can just hit the call button and get involved that way as well. So who you got? I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight. Over the last day or so, this line has moved a lot. It went from 1.5, Tampa Bay minus 1.5, to Tampa Bay minus 2 earlier today. And I'm refreshing once again here moments before kickoff, and it's remaining at a minus 1.5. So the line has been toggling today. It was bet with some Tampa Bay money down to 1.5, and some Raven money came back in and bet it back to 1.5. I'm with the early sharp money. I'll take the Bucks. Here's why. Baltimore is a mediocre team. Both of them are. Tampa Bay might be sub-mediocre, but they're both basically mediocre. Baltimore has not followed a win with another win this season. 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down. That's their year. No traction at all. For every up, there's a down. For every good, there's a bad. For every TD, there's a pick or a fumble, right? Brady has played better at home this year. He has. He's gone over 300 yards twice at home. He hasn't even approached that number in the road games. Lamar Jackson has not been playing well lately. He has not. The New York game, anyone? Last week had a very small stat game. He's trending in the wrong direction. I'm not feeling a big one from Lamar Jackson tonight. If we get it, it's cool. We'll be fascinated by it, but I'm not feeling it. Could I see 175 yards, 65 yards in the ground, 2 total touchdowns. Yeah, I can see that game. Could I see 275 and 2 touchdown scores, another 95 with a touchdown on the ground? I don't see that game coming tonight. Again, he's capable of it. I'm not feeling that. Like he's in a bad way right now. And I know guys bounce back. I know they do, but we're kind of back to some of the same conversations about Lamar. Where are we going here with the arm, man? Like, can we win big with you? Being in some games lame throwing the football. We're right back to that conversation right now. And it feels too easy to bang the Ravens tonight coming off a win and the Bucs looking as bad as you can basically possibly look over the last 2 weeks. But we know how that as soon as you think a team sucks and can't win again, as soon as you think a team is dead in the water, that's when they win. And that's when they cover. Happens every time. Maybe not every time, but you get my point. So I'm making no commitment to the Buccaneers beyond this game right here. I'm not even making a super hardcore firm commitment on them tonight. I make super firm hardcore commitments on my props, and I'm going to give you my thought here on the point spread. But that's my thought, and it's only a thought. I would not be playing this game tonight. There's too much unpredictability with it, but I got a vibe on the Bucs tonight. I do. I think they're going to win this game. Now, before we get Johnny B TV in here, let's talk about Jamar Chase. And we talked about it with Matt Donnelly. I talked about it briefly at the top of the show. Let's take that teased deep dive into Jamar Chase here, who is going to be out quite a while here for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a hip injury. And let me read some of the details on this. Could be sidelined, according to Adam Schefter, for 4 to 6 weeks and is a prime candidate for injured reserve. Schefter said that Chase visited with a hip specialist Wednesday and is seeking more answers about the injury. The Athletic's Paul Denner says that Chase is dealing with a hip flexor strain and that it's not expected to require surgery at this time. So these are all red flags for me. We don't know how long he's going to be out. That's a red flag. Seeking more, that's a red flag. Because they've run tests on it. Obviously they have. And they didn't like the results of the test. And that's why you seek more answers. If the results of the tests are positive, you don't have a second opinion or a third opinion and talk to this doctor and this doctor and this doctor. Cool. He has this. We like that result. And so you just leave it at that. This is something different. And, obviously a hip flexor strain. All right, well, we can work with that. But then he says, not expected to require surgery at this time. The fact that we're talking about the word surgery right now always raises a red flag for me. Always. Seeking more tests and evaluation. The word surgery has been mentioned, ruled out for now, but mentioned. These are red flags, man. I don't like where we're going here. I hope it's only 4 to 6. I do. But we'll see. We'll get some subsequent reporting on this and we'll find out more detail. But, this is obviously just a major, major hit if you're a Jamar Chase manager. And, Paris Campbell on waivers. I'm going to mention some guys here. I mean, they're, it's almost to make you laugh, right? I mean, there's not even half of Jamar Chase on waivers right now. The wide receivers that I wrote down that might be on your waiver wire, right? And I wasn't on last night. We would have gotten into this then. But, I mean, look, I still check the waiver wire on Thursday, on Sunday. I still find dudes out there. I do. In expert leagues, in Yahoo leagues. I mean, you think, oh, man, this guy's for sure taken in my league. Maybe not. And I'm telling you, like, the maybe not a lot of times turns out to so glad I looked this up, right? I did that with Chuba Hubbard and Gus Edwards on Sunday. I was actually able to pick them up in a couple of leagues. I picked up Chuba in a lot of leagues, but I was able to pick up Gus Edwards in a couple of leagues, couple of them very competitive leagues, and he just happened to be out there. I was like, all right, I'm picking up Gus Edwards. But Juju, if Juju's on waivers, you can go get him. Like that's a really nice giddy up. He's on a bye this week, but that'd be a really nice, and that's probably advantage you. He may be on waivers because he's on a bye this week. Go and pick him up, man, and have him and ride him, down the stretch here because I like the direction he's going. Marquise Goodwin with Seattle, he's still on waiver wires in a lot of leagues right now. People are like me with Marquise Goodwin, right? This guy sucks. He never backs it up with anything. He has a big game and it disappears, right? This is different. They don't have DK, and they don't really throw to anybody else other than the tight ends, but the wide receivers are locking in Metcalf. He showed a good vibe with Godwin, so I'm kind of looking at Godwin a little bit differently, to be honest with you. He would be a guy to consider. Wan'Dale Robinson. I like Wan'Dale. Last week, 6 for 50 and 8 targets. The week before, 437 and a touch in his first game. And so those are some guys, like if you've got Chase, Mike Thomas of the Bengals is another guy to think about here. Now, he is a deep league only guy. If you're in a 10-team league, you don't need Mike Thomas. If you're in a 12-team league, you most likely don't need Mike Thomas. If you're in a 14-team league, especially with a deep roster, especially a dynasty type of league where waivers is just butt rotten, go out there and pick him up because he'll be the number 3 here. And Mike Thomas has flashed before and shown us plays before. And we know that the number 3 in Cincinnati is involved. It's hit miss, asked Tyler Boyd. But keep Mike Thomas in mind. Again, 10 and 12, don't go get Mike Thomas. 14, start looking at Mike Thomas. And depending on how thin your waiver wire is, Mike Thomas might be for example, if you're in a league so deep that a guy that scores 7, 8, 9, 10 points in a game could help you, Mike Thomas is a guy you need to look at because he could score. I'm not looking for 15, 18 for Mike Thomas. He's going to have a big play here and there, and he could, hover in that 7 to 10 point per game range. This is obviously huge news for T. Higgins. Huge news. He now ascends to the wide receiver 1, and Joe Burrow already loves him. He's long. Burrow loves throwing him big balls. I shouldn't say that. High balls in the red zone. The ones where only he can go up and get it. So that's going to billow. We're going to see a lot more of the meat and potatoes, 20 to 20 stuff with T. Higgins as opposed to Jamar Chase. Little 5-yard routes, little 7-yard routes. Just get him the rock, right? Some of the stuff they do with Chase, I presume they're going to do with him. Tyler Boyd was a rock star before Jamar Chase and T. Higgins got there, right? And okay, you go out, both awesome players, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Boyd has dropped to number 3, right? But we saw last week what he can do when he gets the rock. He is still an absolute badass. He is a tough catch maker. He is a after the catch guy as well. And I've always loved Tyler Boyd. I'm a volume guy. I love slots. He's a slot. And he's a slot with Joe Burrow, who loves throwing to slots. We saw that back at LSU. So if you have Tyler Boyd, you picked him up maybe after the big performance last week. Congratulations. You now have a bit of a fantasy gold mine on your hands. And your boy is coming in the Cam Dynasty. Tyler Boyd is on my squad. I'm 3-4, looking to get back to 500 this week. And then you got to get back to 500, right? It was a terrible start to the season for me, but good news here on Tyler Boyd. I got good news on DJ Moore last week. Hell, anything's better than Baker Mayfield, right? But obviously huge for Boyd and Higgins. Let me make this point about Jamar Chase. You've heard me talk about the career year theory. Derrick Henry coming off the 2,000-yard season. Anybody coming off of a 2,000-yard season, fade them, not going to happen again. Austin Eckler last year to this year, right? He's been cooking lately, but the first 3 games, right? James Conner last year. And then you think about Chase. You think about Jonathan Taylor of the Colts. Like these guys that had these magnificent, majestic seasons last year, they've all come back to earth. The career year theory, by the way, it's undefeated, man. It's undefeated. It may be misapplied, but when you apply it correctly, it's undefeated, man. I thought Jonathan Taylor, I'm like, nah, he didn't have a career year. There's still more there for him. And maybe there is, but maybe there isn't. And this year we're finding out he's not even going to come close to his numbers last year. Does he have a bounce back next year? I think so. Can they upgrade their offensive line? Is Sam Ehlinger a player or not, right? There's question marks here. But the career year theory is a bitch. It is. It's hard to overcome for a lot of guys. And Jamar Chase is one of those guys. And think about the top of the wide receiver heap last year. You had Jamar Chase. He's plummeted back to earth now, especially with the injury. Devontae Adams. He's not doing what he did this year in Vegas, what he did last year in Green Bay. Not even close. You think about Cooper Kupp. Having a good year, no question about it. Is he doing what he did last year? Cooper Kupp had the greatest wide receiver season of all time. The greatest. Okay? The greatest. And that extends all the way to the Super Bowl, but he was second in receptions and second in yards. Okay? Calvin's got the record for yards. And Michael Thomas, believe it or not, has the record for receptions, and he's right under those guys. Okay, so he had, in my opinion, he had the best wide receiver season of all time. And yes, I compared it to the Jerry Rice seasons and the whole thing. I feel like Rush had the best wire-to-wire wide receiver season in the history of the league. He has fallen off a little bit. Deebo Samuel, anyone? Deebo Samuel has fallen off from last year. And of course, Jamar Chase. So that's 4 of the top wide receivers from last year have come back to earth and or fallen off the cliff this year. The career year theory is something else, man. It has many, many victims in its wake. It's Rick Hamley here on Bettor Sports Live, talking about Jamar Chase going out for at least, it looks like, 4 to 6 weeks, and maybe more depending on some further tests. Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst is a big winner here. And Hayden Hurst is probably on waivers in your league. If you don't already have him on your team. If you already have him, maybe he's your, like, you had Goddard on the bye. All right, you picked up Hurst, and maybe you still have Hurst. Like, don't cut Hurst unless you absolutely have to. But Hurst right now, I believe the targets are going to go up, the catches are going to go up, and he's going to become probably a TE1 type of guy in one tight end leagues. Like, this is big news for him because you have Higgins, you have Boyd, and he was the number 4, and now he's the number 3. Kind of move up in that pecking order a little bit. It's big news for Hurst, man. If he's on waivers, you need a tight end. Not really crazy about the guy that you got. Definitely go out there and look at a Hayden Hurst. Maybe you're tired of the Dalton Schultz experience. Go get Hayden Hurst. You'll be happy with that. Okay, so Joe Mixon here. I want to talk about him as well in terms of angles here of the Jamar Chase injury. Right around the corner, we're going to have Johnny VTV on right here with Cam on Bettor Sports Live. But Joe Mixon, you would think that this would be like advantage Mixon and more of an emphasis on the running game. And look, all of that might happen. I just have a question. Will the Bengals be able to run the ball? If they are getting more runs, if he's getting more, like, will they be effective at it, or will they be lousy at it, which they've been all year, okay? Because that offensive line has been a huge major disappointment. So I think there will be more opportunity for Joe Mixon. I just question the Bengals' ability to execute. I question the ability for talent to meet the opportunity because of the offensive line there in Cincinnati. It's not Joe Mixon's fault. It is not Joe Mixon's fault. It's the offensive line's fault. It is not even the front office's fault. Okay, they brought in 3 new offensive linemen. We're trying to protect Joe Burrow. We're trying to provide the foundation for our offense, a good offensive line. They tried. I appreciate the effort. The players have sucked. They're not getting it done. I mean, maybe they need to fire their offensive line coach. I don't know. But it's not working, man. And so when I see it start to work for Joe Mixon, and when you see it start to work for Joe Mixon, why don't you go ahead and holler at your boy on Twitter, at Rick Hamley Sports, and let me know. Because for Joe Mixon, I'm looking at his touchdown log here. He's got 3 on the year. Brutal. Hasn't run for 100 yards. He's got a touchdown in 3 of the, how many games have we played? 3 of the 7 games. That's brutal. Let's see. His high this year is 82 yards. That was in the first game of the year, folks. And it took him 27 carries to get there. Like, this is just volume-y puke. And the volume's even been going down a little bit here. 17, 8, and 14 have been the rushing attempts the last 3 games. So, look, in theory, maybe this sort of activates and unlocks Joe Mixon. I am not invested in Joe Mixon's another career year guy. He's another career year theory guy. He had a career year last year. James Conner in Arizona, another one. These guys had these massive years last year, and Woo! They've all come back to earth. I'm telling you. I've been preaching the career year theory, by the way, since the 1990s. Long time. I spotted this trend back in the 90s, and I've third-year receiver is another trend that I noticed. Like in the third year, a receiver tends to pop if he hasn't already, if he's provided the opportunity to do the popping. And one more point here I want to make on Ja'Marr Chase, and we'll catch a break, and we'll bring on Johnny BTV. When they say 4 to 6 weeks here for Ja'Marr Chase, my question is, all right, will he be ready for the fantasy football playoffs in head-to-head leagues and in redraft leagues? The question is, the answer is, I think so. All right. So this is week 8. He's going to miss that. Week 9. All right. Week 10. All right. Week 11. All right. That's 4. All right. 12, 13. That would take us out to 6. All right. And so the playoff weeks are 15, 16, 17 now in an 18-week season. So as long as he's back by week 14 to have that game under his belt, give you a good idea of what you're working with, because if he comes back for week 15, you're going to be like, is he on a snap count? Is he going to re-injure himself? This is a playoff game. Can I trust Ja'Marr Chase after missing all this time? And you're probably going to have to play him. But, boy, it would be really helpful for us to get an eye on him in that week before the fantasy football playoffs begin. Based on the 4 to 6 week time frame, it appears that we are going to get that look-see at Ja'Marr Chase before the fantasy playoffs begin in week 15. Again, a lot could change between now and then, but they're saying 4 to 6 weeks. That's what we have to go on. And so that's the take right there. Now, there is a silver lining for Ja'Marr Chase in that he has a week, and the Bengals have a week 10 bye. Okay. So week 8, this week, he'll miss it. Week 9, he'll miss it. Week 10, he doesn't miss it. That's a bye week for him. And then week 11, right? So it's one fewer DNP for Ja'Marr Chase that the bye is going to occur in the middle of his stint on the injured list here. And they haven't put him on the injured list. They might not be. I think you know what I'm saying, as I use that term loosely. So a bit of a silver lining there that the Bengals have a bye coming up in week 10. And so you will have Ja'Marr Chase out, but albeit on a bye for that week. When we come back, we will have Johnny VTV of Roto World, and he's with NBC Sports Edge. John Venezia with Rick Kamla on Thursday Night Football. You're hanging out with your boy right here on Bettor Sports Network.
It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
Moose and Keith with you. Let's welcome aboard right now, Iron Eagle. One of the great stories that I have from doing notes on a plane, and you always get people looking over. They see color-coded uniform numbers, names, height, weight, age, background, hometown. And I had a woman sitting next to me on a flight, and I'm doing my notes, and she's kind of giving a look, then looking. And I can tell she's looking. And then finally, she'll say, so what is it that you do? Well, what do you think I do? She said, are you a wedding planner? I said, yes. I said, I have to put Rob Gronkowski at Tom Brady's table. I said, you know what? You're not correct, but it's the best answer I've ever heard. That's great.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
False fantasy life, fantasy executive. It's going to be a football life. The fantasy executive is probably going to be the best football life ever.
Who will be the guest? Everyone who was on yesterday, basically.
Yeah, everybody that's on yesterday will be the guest. Scott Ingram, you know what I'm saying? Adam Ronis. Yeah, everybody knows people. Because what Nando, obviously you'll be there. You know what I'm saying? We'll go to the GST and shoot some scenes. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice.
We'll shoot some scenes in Midtown Manhattan. Antonio Brown can be on my football life,
That'd
right?
Be nice.
Because that's a big part of my come up as a fantasy analyst. Everybody, the football life, the fantasy executive is going to be for the people. When they do the football life on the fantasy executive, I'm going to be hands on.
Good. Yeah. You talking to you.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Cheetos or Doritos?
I truly love both. Cool Ranch Doritos. I grew up on Cheetos. I was a big Chester Cheetah guy.
Oh, nice.
But Ray, as I have aged into adulthood, I've moved away from the fun that is the Cheeto, and I've gone to the, more cosmopolitan Cool Ranch Dorito chip. So I'm probably a Cool Ranch guy. How about you?
I would go Doritos. I don't like Cool Ranch. The traditional, original, regular, whatever it is really good. But my favorite's actually the sweet chili, the purple bag. Oh, it's delicious. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the one that sucks, and I think we can all agree on this one, taco.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things, and I'm perfect at a lot of things. My Dorito trivia is a little shaky.
Okay.
A little shaky, but I think taco is the first flavor.
It is Rick Kamla on Thursday Night Football. We have Johnny VTV. He's with NBC Sports Edge. He's with their betting department. It is 3-0 Ravens over Bucks right now. First drive of the game, the Ravens went down and scored a field goal off of the foot of Justin Tucker. Brady is at Godwin with a 44-yard catch, and they have the rock right now as we bring in Johnny VTV. Johnny V, man, what's happening? Come on in here with your boy Cam.
How we doing, baby? Good to see you, man. Missed you. We got a good one going on right here. If I still lived in Tampa like you do, I probably would have been at this game. It looks like an early Gasparilla for the Tampanians.
I like it. You got to catch me and everybody up here with last weekend, man.
Yes.
Happy belated birthday. How was your birthday? Did you make some money? You went to AC, right? Did you make some money down there?
I did, yeah. I went to AC. I did all right. I pretty much broke even for the most part. And it was a great weekend. I spent it with my mother. Was that a Mike Evans tutty? No, that was not a Mike Evans tutty. We had a great weekend, man. It was nice to get away. Had to hit the reset button for 24 to 36 hours, and appreciate all the best wishes, man. Thank you.
So where are you at right now? Typically, you're at home. Are you at NBC headquarters right now? You're looking at a very officey, business-like type of scenario here.
Yep, I'm at HQ right now. I usually work late on Thursdays, and I would have been on with you sooner, but I had to step in for our Thursday night Q&A for NBC. And not only do I have the better backdrop here, but I got the better internet connection. And then I just decided to stay. So that is why I am currently still in the office.
I like it, my brother. So we are early here, okay? And this line has been moving a lot here, Johnny VTV. Earlier today, the Bucks were bet. I used DraftKings. It was bet up to Bucks -2. And then we saw some late money coming in on the Ravens to drop it back to 1.5. Take us through your view on the line movement of this game. And Ravens up 3 right now. How do you sort of perceive it going forward here in this game?
Yeah, so it's a good question because I had to answer similar to the same thing. The Bucks were like -3 in the open line. Then they get up to +2.5 as Leonard Fournette scores the first touchdown. And so then, there's a lot of things going on with, okay, is Tampa Bay, who's playing for them? Now we find out they're missing pretty much their entire secondary. Mike Evans, we don't know. Julio, we don't know. And, over the course of the week and even the last few days, we start finding out sharper money is coming in on Tampa. Therefore, that's what's driving the -2. So I've been wrong on everything Tampa related since week 2, but I had to pick a side here. I went with Tampa -2.5 because I think ultimately that is the right side. It's inside a key number, and I think they win this about 24 to 21.
Okay, so in betting here, Johnny V TV, and you know this very, very well. A lot of experienced bettors say that they're targeting a line. Or they're betting the line. They're not betting players. They're not betting teams. They're betting the line. Is that kind of where you're at with this game right here? I mean, are you bullish on Brady? Are you feeling a renaissance? Or are you literally betting a line here?
I'm betting a line because at some point, though, right? Tampa at some point has to get it together. Tom Brady has not been playing well at all, but it's not fair to pin it on only him. You have to pin it on other people too. Evans drops a 65-yard layup. Walk-in tutty last week. Inexcusable. That changes a couple of my fantasy matchups. So I was really thinking about sitting Brady. But, I like going with the sharps. And sometimes you find teams that you're really good on betting with. Like for me, the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks are the 2 teams. But this year the Bucs are horrendous for me. But ultimately, I'm giving them one last chance. Brady hasn't lost 3 in a row in 20 years since 2002. And I think finally this is where they right the ship. But Cam, let me tell you something. I'll let you in on a secret. I almost never bet Thursday night games. I hate them. We should outlaw them. The government should step in and say, no more Thursday night games. We're doubling up on Monday Night Football. Or I'd even rather see a Friday or a Saturday night game and give me an excuse to not go out.
I like an excuse not to go out. You're a young fellow. Why do you need that excuse, man? If I were your age, I'd be especially you're in New York, right? Aren't you in the New York area?
I moved to Stanford, but like truth is, I don't really drink that much anymore. So I don't like to go out and stay out late. I like to stay home, get some sleep now, save money. I pick and choose when I want to go out.
I understand. Talk to me about Lamar Jackson. Like obviously in this game, 4 of 6, 29 yards. I'm just talking overall. He is not on a good trajectory heading into this matchup here, Johnny BTB. He does have the absences in the Buccaneers secondary, but like just overall, man, are you feeling Lamar? Are you kind of like is he losing his grip with you as a QB or a face of a franchise QB?
I do have Lamar in one of my leagues as well. I have 5 fantasy leagues, so Lamar is one of my guys. I like Lamar Jackson personally. I think I said it on this program. I've said it a lot the last few years. I'm not sold that he's that good of a quarterback. I think he's a fantastic athlete, probably the best athlete on the field at all times, playing the quarterback position. Now, he has improved as a passer. I give credit where it's due. He looked good the first few games. I don't know what's happening. He's back to missing throws, but he's also missing some key guys. A lot of it has to also fall on the offensive game plan. But everybody's kind of in this theory that Baltimore should be doing what Seattle, they thought Rush should have been doing, letting them cook. No, the Ravens are always built on a run-heavy team. Lamar and the Ravens cannot have long-term success if he's throwing the ball 40-plus times a game. So I am a little worried because Jackson doesn't look great as of late. He's kind of doing the reverse Aaron Judge, where Aaron Judge was the king of betting on himself this year. Lamar's not drinking that same Kool-Aid. He's kind of playing himself out of some money right now. So I would like to see him step it up because I did believe that the Ravens were going to be a team to make a solid postseason run this year. And I'm not completely out on them yet. I think them selling Hollywood Brown was horrendous because they didn't want to pay him. They didn't fill the gap anywhere. Bateman was already on the team last year. You knew he was going to have to take a step up, but he's just a deep threat at this point. They need a true number 1 receiver.
Yeah, and I mean Deshaun Jackson, they bring him in. That evoked an eye roll for me. I mean, the guy's ancient. He's not going to move the needle for this club. Baltimore, Green Bay, get your guys weapons, right? It's not that hard, and we see that those quarterbacks, to a degree, are dying on the vine because they don't have weapons to throw to, man. But when the QB wants to sap up all that money, it makes it tough. But to me, like I instead of drafting a linebacker, why don't you draft a wide receiver? Like literally take a dart and throw another one at the wall and hope that it sticks. Let's talk about Jamar Chase's injury, Johnny BTB. Mm-hmm. He's with NBC Sports Bet, hanging out with Rick Hamley here on Better Sports Live. And so I won't ask you all you can go into fantasy ripple effects of that if you want. Let's talk Monday Night Football here, Johnny BTB. Bengals at Browns. Cincinnati was, I believe I looked at this. This was Tuesday. I looked at this betting line. It was 3.5. Now it's down to 3. So talk to me about line movement in this game and some Brown money coming in here after the Jamar Chase injury and the news that we got today. But take me to Monday Night Football and the Jamar Chase injury. How does that impact your view on this game?
About 5 minutes after I got the notification, because I was like in the middle of something that required my focus and attention. 5 minutes later, excuse me, I check and see what the line was, and I saw, okay, FanDuel, for instance, dropped it down 0.5 point, which I would say that Jamar Chase is one of those receivers like a Kupp, like a Devontae Adams, that is ultimately worth about 0.5 point to the line, nothing more. Devontae Adams, I think last year I was told, was worth the most. He was worth 1.5 points, and as we say, like, he might be worth more. Jamar Chase has been doing unbelievable this year, and he's had a lot of good games. He had coming off an unbelievable game against Atlanta, even though they lost AJ Terrell mid-game, which was huge. But the Bengals have struggled against Cleveland. They've lost 7 straight, And the reason is because Cleveland has the formula to beat Cincinnati on the ground game with Nick Chubb. And now they have an Amari Cooper type where he's able to get open at will this year. He looks like the throwback of Jerry Rice, the second coming. And Monday night, a lot of fluky, weird things have been going on. So I think it's a key hook that gets erased. But I think I like the Browns to cover that one if I had to pick a side. And Cincinnati's in an advantageous position here because Baltimore has not been playing their best football. They do not look good. They still have another meeting. So if you're Cincinnati, you have enough weapons to get this done and get a W. You need it because if you win and the Ravens lose, now you're in the driver's seat for the AFC North. And I got to be honest, it's going to be a tough battle here for maybe even two teams to get to the playoffs from this division. It's likely, but it still might be tough.
Not a great division, man. It is not. We got Johnny VTV hanging out with Rick Campbell here on Bettor Sports Live. I love asking people about the Denver games over the course of the year because Russell Wilson's been such a polarizing guy. Matter of fact, let me take that word back out of my mouth. Let me put it back into my whole torso here. Polarizing, like who is taking up for Russ right now? To me, he's not polarizing. He's alienating all of us. So 2.5 is the last line I saw on Broncos and Jaguars from London. So talk to me about line movement on this one and which side you're on.
I got to go Jacksonville here. I mean, they've lost, 3-4 in a row, and they're losing games they probably shouldn't have lost. You could make a case they shouldn't have lost against the Colts, where Matt Ryan was unbelievable, and then they go bench him next game, but I could go on a whole rant about that. They lose last week to the Giants. They didn't kick a field goal. Could have put them up 6 or 7 points. Doug Peterson was doing unbelievable the first few weeks, and now he's kind of outmaneuvering himself. He's getting too cute. The analytics are rearing into effect losses for teams where they're like, oh, it's 4th and 2. Even though we could go up 2 scores, let's go for the kill and go for this 4th and 2 and deep in our enemy territory. Like, no, guy, just kick the field goal. Get the points. I understand the killer instinct. Like, there's 2 times off the top of my head this year I can remember going for the killer instinct was actually a good idea. Dabo week 1 for the 2-point conversion, get the Titans. I agree with that. And I did agree with Josh McDaniels going for it against the Chiefs on that Monday night game, but not getting it. I think it was the correct decision. But Jacksonville needs to get back to this, and I think they do it. Even against a tough Denver defense, it's probably going to be a slugfest. I think Christian Kirk probably gets erased by Patrick Surtain, who's playing out of his mind. But they're going to find a way to get it done. I'm going Jacksonville. Can't trust Russell Wilson.
So you mentioned, I mean, obviously I'm with you there. I'm on Jax as well this week. I'm flushing everything Russell Wilson. His Super Bowl ring, like none of it matters to me anymore. Like you have completely played your way out of my good graces. You said that you had a rant on Matt Ryan. So let's get to Johnny V TV, the volcanic eruption here. Do you have a problem with Frank Reich? I have a huge problem with Frank Reich. I think he should be fired as their head coach. I think he absolutely sucks. So I'll just check up there and let you take it farther. You got a big opinion here on them benching Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger?
All right. I have a huge problem, and here's why. Matt Ryan goes 385, 3 touchdowns, including the game winner. He's got, I think, 3 or 4 game-winning or fourth quarter comebacks this year. Then the next week, okay, fine. Like I'm pretty fair down the line. He did not play well. But at the same time, you only ran Jonathan Taylor 10 times. This is an offense. This is a team that is built to give this guy at least 20 carries a game. Sure, their defense played fine. Matt Ryan had 2 picks. One was the pick 6. It was a bad throw. It was behind the receiver. The other one, I can't remember if the other one was like a tip ball or on the receiver. But in any case, he's the one that's been getting sacked to no end. And I understand that this might be a system where you need a little bit more mobile quarterback. Like Carson Wentz wasn't totally terrible last year. He had his moments.
27-7 ratio. He was 27-7.
Exactly. But at the same time, like, don't sell a false bill of goods. Like, this line was good. I was duped by this line. I'll be the first one to admit it. Taylor, horrendous. This defense has been solid, but the coaching has been bad. And don't bring in Matt Ryan if you're going to go bench him. Like, what was the point of bringing him in and taking on his contract? Like, we saw when Ryan has ample time to throw it, And I understand that you need to be able to move a little bit. He can't do it like he used to. And not that he was ever a mobile guy, but he could move when he had to. Don't bring him in, because we see when he's clean, he's able to dice you up. 385, 3 scores. Blankenship misses a chip shot field goal in week 1 against Houston. You're sitting on another win there. That's a big win at this point. I mean, it's just not fair. I mean, Jonathan Taylor has 1 game over 100 yards this year. And none since week 1. I don't think he has a touchdown since week 1. So we're not looking here at the Colts that Taylor's ripping for 120 and 2 tutties a week, and the Colts are losing because Ryan's not good. No, nobody's playing good in this offense. In fact, Ryan's brought out the best of a guy like Alec Pierce, Paris Campbell. We'll see how Sam Ehlinger does. But Ryan's time as a Colts done because they don't want him to get hurt. I just hope he gets traded and he go to a place he can continue his legacy. He's climbing all the boards in terms of career numbers. He's 4th in the league in pass yards right now. 4th. That's not bad for a washout.
I mean, Johnny BTV, look, I agree with every word you're saying. I'm not, and I don't hear it in you either. Like we're these big Matt Ryan fans, but I mean, damn respect. The guy, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. The guy is trajecting towards the Hall of Fame. Like if he can't get his career back on the tracks, like I believe Johnny BTV off the top of my head, he is top 10 in yards and gosh, I don't know if he's top 10 in touchdowns, but I'll look that up here. But I got Matt Ryan tracking towards the Hall of Fame. A lot of people laugh when I say that, Johnny BTV, but when you're talking about a guy that has the yards that he has, he's at 61,000 yards. Hello. And he's at 376 touchdowns. And he's won an MVP. We're talking about a Hall of Fame guy. And he's approaching his late 30s, but he's not like 38, 39 and all that kind of stuff yet. So I basically agree with everything you said right there. Talk to me about Justin Fields, brother. What do you got? You got a thought here?
One more quick thing.
What up?
What people don't understand about Matt Ryan, he had to learn 7 or 8 different offenses in his career. He had to learn an offense every 2 years. This guy turned out more head coaches from coordinators and assistants. He turned out 5 or 6 head coaches. He is one of the most clutch quarterbacks to ever play the game. He's top 7 all time in fourth quarter comebacks, game-winning drives. And it's ridiculous. And the fact is, he would have had a Super Bowl. He played one of the best Super Bowl performances of any quarterback in NFL history, but yet he gets the blame when it's not his fault. Shanahan doesn't get the blame. Devontae Freeman doesn't get a blame for missing a key block. It's really pathetic, man. And I'm a huge Matt Ryan guy. I think it was just popular because he's not a sexy quarterback. He's not one of these mobile guys. He doesn't have a Mahomes type of arm. But God damn it, he was solid, and he turned a franchise around. He got them to the playoffs. He turned them into a legit contender. And guess what? He never, ever said a peep when things go against him. He's always a team guy. He is my quarterback one. I love Matt Ryan. No matter what, if he retires, I'll consider him a Hall of Famer because absolutely no doubt the consummate professional that always, always delivered when he needed it to.
I love it, man. That was quite the soliloquy from our boy Johnny VTV. And let's let me look at his rankings here real quick. Passing yards, he's 7th all time. Passing touchdowns, he's 9th all time. He's top 10 in the 2 most important statistical categories at his position: passing yards and passing touchdowns. Top 10 in both right now, without throwing another.
With no defense, by the way, he never had a defense ever.
Hold on, you weren't a big Vic Beasley guy down there in Atlanta all those years?
I hated him. He was.
Can I tell you a Vic Beasley story?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Please.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, all I heard was when coaches would. There was reports after his 2016 season when he led the league in sacks at 15.5.
Yes.
That when it wasn't going right for him, the coaches, as men do to men, especially football players, you get in the guy's face and you yell at him. He didn't respond. He pretty much folded up and shut down. So he couldn't handle somebody getting in his face. What? No. No, I don't want that guy on my team.
I used to cover the Falcons for 92.9 The Game in Atlanta, the home of the Falcons. 7 years over there, Johnny VTV. And so you can imagine, and I'm not even about to go into a complaint here, but we were out there broadcasting shows from Flowery Branch at their practice facility where they hold their training camp. And it's 10,000 degrees outside, where everybody's melting in the whole thing. But they brought Vic Beasley over to us like every year that he was there. And he's just got like this real flatline persona about himself. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. At times you were like, you wanted to like, is anybody home? What are we doing here? So wasn't like a real charismatic guy. Wasn't a bad guy, but wasn't like a light up the room type of guy. And then when he told me that he was into country music, that's when I was like, oh, you're into country music, man? Like,
Wow.
You think about a guy sacking a quarterback and stuff like that. And that was just different to me. And he's a different dude. He is a different dude. But yeah, those interviews, they were always like a little awkward. Johnny VTV, like me and my host would get off the air like, okay, we just interviewed Vic Beasley. That was odd once again. Just an odd fellow, man. But let me ask you here about one more game, Johnny VTV. Because I was going to ask you about Justin Fields, okay?
Listen, I got all night. I don't got nowhere to go.
I love it. So has this absolute renaissance against New England, right? On Belichick night, was supposed to pass Hallis on Monday night, and Justin Fields had other ideas. And now he's going to Dallas. So are you feeling, and obviously no Zeke, but, whatever, they'll be able to run the ball. But do you think Justin Fields has arrived, or do you feel like he's going to go down to an absolute shredder in Dallas this week? And where are you at there with the Bears and the Cowboys?
Maybe. I kind of am regretting this. I might pull this one out. Dallas -9.5 before it went to 10. And then Zeke news broke. I don't like betting these big spreads. And I'm a fan of Justin Fields. I said it since day one. I said it coming into the year. I wasn't high in Chicago for obvious reasons. They had arguably the worst roster in football. And the reason why I wasn't a big believer in Fields in terms of producing this year was because they're setting him up to fail. Personally, I like the guy. I think he could be a very good quarterback given a good circumstance where he can succeed in. And we've seen Fields this year, a lot of his success is ad-libbing. And he's doing stuff off the run. Like, I think he had 12 designed runs last week, though. So, but then there's the scramble plays, right? He has the snap, and it was a bad snapper. He dropped it. I don't know which one it was. And he picks it up and he makes something happen. Like, this is the guy that they drafted. And I think he's starting to come into his own. I think he's been fantasy QB 5 the last 3 weeks combined. So he's getting it done, and he's starting to get his receivers going, even though, a guy like Darnell Mooney isn't really truly fantasy value at the moment. But I like what Fields is doing. I don't think it'll be enough for this weekend. I expect Dallas to win by at least 10. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But I think there's some bright days ahead for Fields. I hope so. I want to see him succeed. I like him. I think he could be a very good quarterback in the NFL.
Were you a Fields guy at Ohio State?
I'll tell you the truth. I'm not a huge college guy. I watch
All
here
right.
and there, so I can't say I'm a day one die-hard college football guy. But I saw Fields play a little bit, towards the end of the season in the big games. I was like, man, like, this kid's good. This kid looks like he has something.
He's a tank with 4.4 speed, and to a degree, Dan Marino, John Elway, and Brett Favre on his shoulder, right? This guy can throw the ball the length of the field, and he's an amazing runner. And I, like you, was mesmerized by all the design runs on Monday night. I mean, it wasn't even random stuff. It was like, let's just send him around the left side. Let's send him around the right side. And he is looking to seek and destroy. He is not like, he will like put the shoulder in on you and drive you to the ground as you tackle him. But here's the stat on the way out here, Johnny VTV. Did you know that Justin Fields was undefeated in the Big Ten? Did you know that?
I did not know that. I'm glad I do. It's
Boom.
a good Jeopardy question.
That's a good stat, right? Justin Fields did not lose a game in his Big Ten career. He lost a game or two in the college football playoff, but not in the Big Ten. All right, Johnny B, before we let you go, tell the people where to read you, where to watch you, where to hear you.
Always at _ Johnny VTV on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And I'm always putting out my content for NBC Sports Edge. You can go on. We have a lot of great people doing a lot of great things on the site. My weekly taste will be out tomorrow. Might put out a video. Cam, if you can guess it, I'll tell you what I'm dressing up for as Halloween. You'll see it because I'll put it out on a video. But can you guess? I'll give you 3 guesses.
Okay, 3. I'm going to guess. Oh man.
Don't guess like a baseball player or a cowboy. Like it's a character. It's a movie character.
I'm thinking mob movie. With you, I'm thinking mob movie. I'm thinking is Ray Liotta one of them?
No.
Or it's not Ray Liotta. Will you go as Gandolfini?
I will. I'm dressed up as Tony Soprano.
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
Did I nail it?
You nailed it, man.
Johnny, tell him what he's won. Tell him what he's won, for the love of God. Oh my God.
He's won a lifetime supply of free Hammer picks. Let's go, baby. Are we hitting some winners this weekend? What are we doing? Are we cashing out big time?
Yes, we are. Oh man, I can't believe I called that. I didn't even need on an 0-1 pitch. I got it. I drilled it right up the middle.
Speaking of, how dare you? How dare you bring me on and not even reference the World Series starting tomorrow? How dare you?
It's a good point. All right, screw it. Let's hang around a little longer, man. I've been on the Stro since before the playoffs, Johnny B. TV. Talk to me, man. Do you want, give me series prediction and then tomorrow night prediction.
Astros win. I'm going to do it reverse. Astros win tomorrow. I think it's Nola Verlander. I think Verlander at home gets it done. 6 innings, 2 runs, 9 Ks. Nola pitches a solid 5 innings, 3 runs type of thing. But I just think Houston is – I just think they're locked in for game 1. But Philadelphia preseason was my pick to win the World Series. So and there's documentation. I got receipts on it. And I can't fade this team. They just seem like a team of destiny. And all the reasons why they're succeeding is what I pointed out. I said before the year started, I'm like, this is a top 3 lineup in baseball. They have guys top to bottom that can not only produce, but they can carry an offense. Now what happens when you put them all together? I think good things, I would assume. And then you have Wheeler, Nola, top of the rotation. They're going to be studs. The bullpen, as long as it's not a total disaster like it was last year, I think they got a pretty good shot here. I really do. I think they could beat anybody. And as it's seen, they ran through the NL. And listen, I'm going to pick the Phillies. I do have another ticket on the Astros to win the World Series, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I would benefit financially as well, but I think the Phillies win. But, I'm torn because it's head versus heart, wallet versus fandom, or being right, whatever you want to call it. But
right.
I do like Philadelphia. Red October gets it done for the first time in 12 years. And I had Bryce Harper winning the MVP. I won that one in the NLCS, as well as my ticket for the Phillies to win the NL. I just don't think the Phillies can do it without Bryce Harper, man. He is the heart and soul of this team. And I was never a huge fan of him, mainly because everybody always compared him to Mike Trout, right, when they came out. And everybody thought he was always better than Trout, and I don't think it's close still now. But I got to give the guy credit, man. He stepped up. He stepped up, and he looks unbelievable right now.
I'm not a Mike Trout guy. I'm not a Mike Trout guy. Finish the season, for the love of God. Win a game, win a division, go to a wild card series.
And he missed 6 weeks. Aaron Judge my ass. He would have had the home run record if he stayed healthy. I know it's a big if these days,
but he never stays healthy. That's the point. Never, ever.
Never. I know, man. I know.
Bregman should have won MVP. What was that, 2018? Whatever year that was. 2019. Bregman should have won that MVP. Mike Trout. He missed the last 50 games, and they freaking handed him an MVP award. That's a passion point for me. Do I think he sucks? No, I think he's overrated though. He just gets too much. It gets too much respect that he's not on the field earning right now. But anyway, Johnny B. TV, it's all good, brother. So you've got. I understand Phillies, man. You're invested in this team. Think about it. It's perfection against perfection. the Phillies have not lost a home game in the playoffs, right? They're averaging like 7 runs per game at home. The Astros haven't lost a game yet in the playoffs, giving up 2.5 runs per game. So strength against strength, perfection against perfection. And I can't wait to watch it, man. And we'll all be checking it out tomorrow night. But Johnny BTV, what up?
More. I was going to say that 7-0 record is not what it looks like on paper. Like, they're playing well. They should have lost to the Mariners game 1, outmanaged themselves. Game 2, Castillo throws a gem. They beat him there. 18 innings in game 3 could go either way. The Yankees didn't play terrible against them. Like, a couple of the games could have went their way as well. You know what I mean? So the 7-0 on paper, to me, isn't something where I'm holding to the bank and I'm not saying, oh, they're due for a loss. But in all reality, they should have at least lost 2 or 3 games in the postseason thus far.
But they didn't because they're so damn freaking good. That's why. They got options.
Because Scott Surface thought it was a good idea to put Robbie Ray against Yordan Alvarez in the key moment of the game. Oh,
hey, lefty. He's playing a percentage, and he went lefty, and it blew up in his face. Yes, it did. It blew up in his face. But the Astros just got like McCormick's hitting home runs, right? I mean, like they just got all the bases covered, man. But Johnny BTV, you the man. Really appreciate you, brother, and we'll talk to you next week.
My guy, let's catch some winners this week. Thank you for having me. As always, great talking to you. I'll see you on the other side, brother.
Rock on, my brother. That is Johnny BTV right there, hanging out with your boy Cam. Check him out at NBC Sports Edge and NBC Sports Bet. So we have slowed down here a little bit in Thursday Night Football, 10-3 Bucks over Ravens. We are early in the second quarter. I'll dive into the box score when we continue. We'll dive into some of the box scores around the NBA as well, and we'll check out if we're tracking towards hitting these prop bets or not. And hopefully we get some good news right here. But let's take a breath, and I'm going to look into some of the comments too coming back here. Some questions in there, some debates in there. We got a lot to get to, man. So we'll hustle back here. It's Rick Kamla taking a brief break on Bettor Sports Live.
Corey, Nando, and Friends, presented by Mayo Media on Bettor Sports Network.
I'm convinced that Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Babe Ruth is not real. No, it's not. Babe Ruth is not real. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. We've been led astray. We've been run amok.
Keep going.
Babe Ruth. I don't know the rest. The Babe Ruth is a fictional character. I'm dead serious. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Y'all are never going to get me to believe that Babe Ruth is real. Babe Ruth is like a baseball Santa Claus. I'm not buying it. After I saw those highlights last night of Babe Ruth, I'm like, there's no way you can tell me that Babe Ruth is a real person. Who do you know? There is nobody under the sound of my voice that has ever seen Babe Ruth play. I asked my pop, you ever seen Babe Ruth play? He's like, no. Nobody's ever seen Babe Ruth play.
I mean, come on.
I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Even Babe Ruth baseball cards, it looked like it's drawn. Like, Babe Ruth is not real. Y'all trying to pull a fast one. Listen, I don't know who made this up. Maybe it was Phil Rizzuto. Maybe it's the Lenny Melnick. But Babe Ruth is not a real person. There's no way. Everything about Babe Ruth is sketchy. If you didn't go to the games, how do you know that it really happened? Or I listened on the radio. You listen to Ovaltine on the radio. That old school radio was all fiction. Everything on old school radio was fake. But you think Babe Ruth is real?
Look, he lived until 1948. So if you find someone who's like 85 years old, they might have remembered him when he was little, when they were a little teenager.
Babe Ruth was made up by baseball purists. I am certain.
You do that thing where you pause the Babe Ruth video and you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in. You see like some artist's autograph like right here.
Yeah,
like digital art right here. Yeah.
Somebody needs to investigate this and see if Babe Ruth is a real person. I'm pretty sure Babe Ruth is a fictional character created to make people think that like there was this great jolly old baseball player that drank beers and ate hot dogs and hit 60 home runs. Like the home run record before Babe Ruth was like 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and
but
now
he figured it out. Like who figured out the dunk, right? Like he's just like,
that's like Dr. J or something, right? Then Dr. J, probably was before Dr. J, but Dr. J made the dunk famous. Babe Ruth made the home run famous, or maybe that was a way to get people to like, we're gonna make baseball America's pastime. But in order to do so, We need somebody who we can make the face of the sport. And they didn't have no face of the sport. So they're like, okay, let's make him a fictional guy that played for the Red Sox and was traded to the Yankees for like tickets to tickets to cats. You know what I'm saying? Like the Red Sox get a Yankees.
You tried to say Les
Miserables. Is there any footage of Babe Ruth in the Red Sox uniform? None. I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character.
Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla. How y'all doing here? Let's check the comments, then we'll go to the box scores here. Love to see you all in here. We've got Nick Durston here. Nick, what's going on, brother? Good to have you back. He says, Rick, the Bucks need to sign Carmelo Anthony. You're damn right they do, Nick Durst. You're damn right they do. I have been preaching that on NBA radio on the SiriusXM platform since the summertime. It is, I don't usually do this, but this is a good opportunity to do it. It is complete bullshit that Carmelo Anthony is not on a team in the NBA right now. Complete bullcrap. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like scoring deficient teams. Think about the LA Lakers for a minute. He was just there. Would Carmelo Anthony not be helping the Lakers right now? They're the worst shooting team in the NBA. They're the worst offensive team in the NBA. The worst, 30th out of 30. Carmelo Anthony, what does he do? He makes shots. Has his entire career. The last 3 years as a bench player, he's been 38% on threes and making 13 points per game. Okay? In like 25, 26 minutes kind of thing. The guy is still a walking bucket. The Milwaukee Bucks don't have Chris Middleton. They don't have Pat Connaughton. They will not have Joe Ingles until February-ish, coming off the ACL. They badly need him. The Bucks also, there have been reports that they're talking with the Suns about Jay Crowder. That would be a big-time get for the Milwaukee Bucks. But dang it, Carmelo Anthony is free, dangling out there for anybody to go grab. And I think the Bucks should be that team. I think there's many others that could use Carmelo Anthony as well, Nick. But it's funny that you went there. I haven't really been talking about the Bucks or Carmelo here. Jalen says, Jalen, good to have you back. He says he's a better shooter than most of the Lakers. Makes no sense how he still hasn't been signed. Jalen, I'll like kind of like double down or whatever on that. Like right now, he's the best shooter the Lakers have. And he's not on the Lakers because the best shooters the Lakers have are basically Pat Bev and LeBron James. I'd rather have Carmelo Anthony dialing up a 1 minute, 13 second to go three ball than LeBron James and Patrick Beverly. And I like, LeBron and Patrick Beverly can shoot a little bit, like, okay, above average, but Carmelo's, to me, an elite. Elite's a strong word. He's in the second tier of shooters. Let's put it that way, okay? And by the way, Nick Durst says, too bad the Knicks don't want Anthony. They need a good shooter. I've been saying for a couple of years the Knicks should bring him back. So I'm with you there. Nick says, Cavs, Bucks, Warriors, Nuggets for conference finals. Let me write that down here. Let's analyze that for a minute. Nick says, Cavs, Bucks, GSW, and Denver. Okay, so we are in lockstep here, Nick. I have Dubs over Bucks in the finals, okay? So I've got them in the conference finals, and obviously it's very chalky. And you're kind of going slightly unchalky here with Cavs and Nugs, but you're not going like super off the beaten path. I'm a big Cavs fan, not a fan of the roster, right? Watching, what night is it? Last night, the battle with Paulo Banchero and Evan Mobley. My God, were you guys able to watch that? How freaking fun was that? And how like I'm like thirsty for the next meeting between these guys. I can't wait to watch them play against each other again. I tell you what, man. With what I'm seeing from Brooklyn here, and Boston is looking good. I haven't like evaluated this in a minute. In terms of who my conference finals would be in the East. Preseason, it was Brooklyn. Okay. Oh, I mean, I'm going to hang in there with it. I guess I'll hang in there with it, but dang, Brooklyn looks awful. They're in a battle here tonight against the Dallas Mavericks, but the Cavs are right freaking there. The Cavs are closer to making the conference finals in the Eastern Conference than the Nuggets are in the West. I'm not as into the Nuggets, Nick, as everybody else. I'm not as into the Nuggets as everybody else. Shaq has them winning the West. My buddy Amin Al-Hassan at NBA Radio has them winning the West. I'm not with that, man. Yes, you've got the Joker. He's extraordinary. But Michael Porter Jr. questionable tomorrow night with the lumbar management. He already missed last night's game. Are we talking about a setback here? Or is this, because if it's load management, okay, really, we're taking 2 games off here? Usually load management is 1 game. We get you back to work. What's up with that? Have you seen Jamal Murray? I shouldn't even bring this up because Jamal's got so long to work his way into shape, and he will. But his shot is broke right now, like real broken. I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling the Denver thing. Are they a good team? Yeah. Are they a playoff team? Yeah. Could they be a top 6 team? Yeah. Conference finals? I don't see it. I look at Golden State Phoenix. I look at Golden State Clippers, Golden State Grizzlies, Golden State Mavericks, Golden State Pelicans. I put all of those teams over the Nuggets. So I can't get with you right there with the Nuggets love. Let's see. Let me go back a little ways here. I love the comments. And again, want to just continue to encourage you guys to interact. We love the interaction. That's what this whole network is about, is interacting with you guys and girls. We want you to hit the call button. It's right next to the fun button. You have an audio or video option at that point. Come on in here and talk with your boy, or hit join the show, and you can jump in here with the comments and this kind of thing. Quick check of the Ravens and Buccaneers game. We are still 10-3, 7:07 to go in the second quarter. And again, like more of what we've seen from Lamar Jackson. Hard to really get excited about this. They do have a very pass-heavy game script here tonight so far. 15 throws for Lamar Jackson, 4 runs for Gus Edwards. He has 18 yards. We're trying to get to 44.5. And Tom Brady has thrown for 84 combined yards to Godwin and Evans. He's at 102 here as we speak. A couple of the comments here. Dave Poland had a wager that he was doing. Let's see here. Somebody makes Dave Poland says, these disco lights have me feeling slightly disoriented, but I like it. Dave, to put like a different kind of ambiance or something on it. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to this bet that Dave Poland was doing here tonight. I love how ballsy he is with his bets. Dave said, I just bet $500 on Spencer Dinwiddie minus 175 head-to-head points total against Nicholas Claxton. $500 Dinwiddie versus Claxton for total points in the game, minus 175 for Dinwiddie. I like all of that, Dave. I do. Better Boss said, minus 175, Dave, question mark. I rarely take anything worse than minus 150. I'm far from a smart bettor, but that seems to not have value and be too risky. Dave said, you're right. It's a lot of juice and not sustainable long term. I'm willing to bet, though, in the right spots, a win is a win. That's a really fun debate right there between Dave and my boss, a.k.a. Better Boss, a.k.a. one of the smartest dudes in this business, Matt Deutsch, talking about Dinwiddie versus Claxton here tonight. Let's check the scoreboard here. Dinwiddie is that 6? That is 6. Yikes. That's not good. And Claxton is at 7. But we got it's 4:47 to go in the third quarter here. We got a long way to go. I had the over on Dinwiddie's prop tonight at 15.5. And look, we're still alive for that. He's got the end of this quarter, and he'll have the fourth quarter and his run there. But we're not done here yet, Dave. But right now, Claxton does have a 1-point lead over Spencer Dinwiddie. Dave Poland says, I'm going to break a chair. I'm pissed. I'm very nervous right now. You should be nervous, but hang in there. Mark Andrews questionable to return. That is not good, folks. That is not good. Look, I wondered what we were doing here with Mark Andrews. Lamar Jackson, he had, I believe, a bagel and 2 targets last week. Lamar Jackson said, he just didn't get the ball. The ball just didn't go his way. And what I presumed at the time was, come on, man, if Mark Andrews is healthy, he's getting the ball. And so the fact that he didn't, and he was very questionable for the game. Like, is he hurt? Is he out there playing hurt? And now tonight, he goes out already in this game, questionable to return. That's not a good sign, and definitely not a good look. If you were on the Bucks tonight, which I loosely and lightly was, it's obviously we're not cheering for injuries here, but for the Ravens offense to not have Mark Andrews, that's obviously very, very significant. By far their number one receiver, albeit a tight end. Let's check a couple more comments here. You guys are cracking me up. He says, Bowles has been awful. Look, I never thought that was going to work. I didn't. I never thought that was going to work. I believe Tom Brady, I don't think Tom Brady wanted to work with Bruce Arians anymore. I believe the reports that Tom is a burn the midnight oil guy and Bruce Arians kind of wasn't, and that put Tom in a bad way. I believe Tom went to the organization and said, let's make a move. They said, no, we're hanging in there with Bruce. And he said, I'm taking my ball and going home. I'm retiring for 40 days. And then he unretired. And then a little while after that, we find out that Bruce Arians is no longer the head coach. I'm sorry, but Detective Kamala is up in here, and that's fishy as hell, people. And I can't just believe, Bruce Arians just wanted to step down as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You guys know how freaking competitive, maniacally competitive he is, and give the job to Todd Bowles because he's a great guy. He's worked so hard, and I want to give him this opportunity. Who does that? Here you go. Here's my job. Take it. Stop it. Stop it. Tom Brady essentially whacked him, okay? And he's still with the organization because the organization wanted to keep him. Tom wanted him out, so the team kept him in a executive role, whatever. Like, we'll still pay you your money. You're still our boy, Bruce, but you can't coach the team anymore because that guy Tom Brady, that bleep Tom Brady, he wants you out. So we got to go with Todd freaking Bowles. Todd freaking Bowles. Oh, because he burns the midnight oil. Look, Bill Walton via John Wooden, one of the greatest quotes of all time. I believe it was a Wooden quote, which has been reiterated many times by the great Bill Walton. Never mistake activity for achievement. Just because you're moving your mouth, politicians, election time, doesn't mean you're saying anything. Just because you're running and jumping doesn't mean you're getting anything done with that athletic activity. Nick Durr says, is Fox getting their money's worth on their Brady contract by having him do World Cup commercials? Good question. Obviously, 10 years and $375 million waiting for Tom Brady when he's done playing football. He'll get, I believe, a pay raise. I've been wondering about this. Let me do a quick search here on Brady money because I don't believe he makes anywhere even close to 37.5 per year right now. That's where he's going to be at. And I haven't heard, guys, have you heard the role? Like, is he going to be with, are they going to boot Greg Olsen out and put Brady with Kevin Burkhardt? Brady this year, okay, it's interesting. His dead cap hit is 47 mil, but his yearly cash is 30 mil. Okay, so he is going to get a raise. And then it says here 1 year, $15 million. I'm confused, right? That's why I say with Brady, like, I don't know how much damn money this guy makes. Cap hit 11 mil, signing bonus 10 mil, base salary 1.1 mil. You guys tell me, does he make 30 million or 15 million? I literally can't. I'm on Spotrac.com right now, the source for salary information. And I'm good with other people's money. I don't know. Like, does he make 15 a year? Does he make 30? Either way, he's going to get a raise to not play football and to talk about football. Nick Durr says, yes, Brady is their number one color guy. So, Nick, do you know, are they going to boot Greg Olsen? Are they going to add Brady to that booth? Are they going to downgrade Greg Olsen to their B team? That would be interesting right there. And by the way, are you guys Kevin Burkhardt guys? I don't think Kevin Burkhardt. I think Joe Davis should be in that spot. Joe Davis should have just taken over for Joe Buck. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? I love talking about announcers here. How bad Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit are together. Nick Durr says, love KB. I don't dislike Kevin Burkhardt, but to me, he doesn't have the gravitas of that role that he's in. To me, he just doesn't. Like, Buck has gravitas. And you think about Monday Night Football, right? Sean McDonough did not have gravitas. He just doesn't have that vibe. He's not a dominant enough, authoritative enough guy. He's a phenomenal play-by-play guy. That's not the point. Joe Tessitore, to me, I'm surprised he didn't get more run on Monday Night Football. I really like him. And Nick is saying, get Smoltz out of the booth. He'd rather be golfing. He's so boring. It's funny talking about announcers. I love Jalen says, big Tessitore fan. Joe Tessitore is the man. He's got the big voice like this, and he sets the scene like this. He's got a little bit of a Brent Musburger vibe to him. Brent is my broadcast hero. At 16 years old, I said, I want to be Brent Musburger. Why can't I be Brent Musburger? Oh, here we go. Nick Durst. That is the take of the night. That is the take of the night. I love hanging out with you guys. That is the take of the night right there. Check this out. My man Nick Durst just said, Adnan Virk should be a Fox baseball guy. Wait a minute. Adnan Virk. Are you talking about Adam Amin? And I do like Adnan Virk. I do. Used to be with ESPN. I don't know where he is right now. For some reason, I saw A and immediately went to Adam Amin. Fox announcer, and let's see, he does the Bulls games. I do like Adnan Virk, but Adam Amin to me is the best play-by-play guy that we don't talk about. He's phenomenal, and his calls. Yeah, I was listening to a Padres Dodgers game, and it was a come-from-behind win for the Padres, and him hitting the high note at those big moments late in that game when the Padres were scoring and their crowd was going absolutely bananas. Like, he is really, really, really skilled, man. And I'm a fan. So I look, should Adam Amin be above Kevin Burkhardt? I don't know about that. I prefer him over Kevin Burkhardt. But to me, Joe Davis and Kevin Burkhardt, that's not a debate in my head. That's not. And we know Joe Davis, Dodger announcer, great baseball announcer, does college football. He's doing pro football on Fox every Sunday now. The guy's a freaking badass, man. He's got the look of that number one guy and the voice of that number one guy. There's just a vibe about him. I think it might be Kevin smiles too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just smiles a little bit too much. It's just, it kind of becomes kind of cheesy and kind of corny for me a little bit. Dave Poland says, Jason Benetti is outstanding. Another one of my, Dave, another one of the homies. And so I love Jason Benetti. And he's very sarcastic. He gets into it with Steve Stone on the White Sox broadcast. He used to work the Friday night college football game on ESPN with Andre Ware, who I worked with in Houston when I was down there. And I used to love those Friday calls. It'd be like some random ass, like Virginia, North Carolina game right on a Friday night. And it would be Jason Benetti and it would be Andre Ware and Carcatara. The guy that they had, like, that was a really, really good crew on college football. And I know now Benetti's working with Fox doing college football over there. And he's a total badass, man. And then, Nick, you keep hitting me with the homies. He says Chris Myers is old reliable. That deserves a wow. I love me some Chris Myers. Chris Myers, I'm like, should I say I'm buddies with him? I don't know. Maybe I am. But I used to do hits with him on Fox Sports Radio back when he was doing radio there. Like every week, I'd do a hit with Chris Myers. We got friendly with each other and developed a little bit of a relationship. He's a freaking whale, man. Chris Myers, with that voice. Chris Myers, oh, that deserves a wow. He's just got the voice, man. And by the way, I know I got to get back to work here. I'm having fun play-by-play. But speaking of voice, you guys remember Dick Stockton? Basketball announcer, football announcer. You know what I love about Dick Stockton? His voice has never changed. He was, for me, the voice of the NBA coming up in the 1980s. And that I was born in 1969. So in the 80s, those were my like teenage years, big Showtime Laker fan. Couldn't tell me nothing about Magic and my guys. And Brent Musburger did play-by-play as well. But I remember first, it was Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn, Dick Stockton and Billy Cunningham. And that voice, I can't do Dick Stockton. Like, he's just got that one-of-a-kind distinctive voice. It's like a fine wine that's been aged for 350 years. It goes back to the effing medieval times, right? This fucking wine you're drinking. That's Dick Stockton's voice, okay? Like, the guy's absolutely unbelievable. I interviewed him just a little while ago, and Dick Stockton's voice sounds the exact same as it always has. So that's absolutely crazy right there. And my man Jalen says Dick Stockton was unreal. So let's check this scoreboard here real quick. Let's try to make Dave Poland a little bit of money. Luka, by the way, cha-ching, he's over. He's at 33 points, folks. We had Luka. Let's put a win, little dub by hit. Whoops, it's Durant. Let's put a win by Luka right there, 32.5. You can't contain Luka Doncic. We are still stuck on Dinwiddie at 6 points. He has not come back into the game from the last time we talked. Claxton is still at 7 points. Dave, we're pulling for you here, trying to get you home. Kevin Durant tracking towards his number. I'm not going to put a dub on it yet, but he's at 20 points. We got to get to 28.5 and obviously the over. We had Dinwiddie at 15.5. We have De'Aaron Fox later at 25.5. Klay Thompson at 15.5. Steph Curry at 25.5. Yes, all of those folks are overs. And Memphis and Sac is about to about 40 minutes. Miami and Golden State's about to tip off in about 40 minutes. So if you want to get in on those, Fox at 25.5, Klay at 15.5, and Steph at 25.5. I am on all of those. So that's what's going on in props in terms of a little bit of Thursday night football action. It is still 10-7. I mean, my God, we get an improvement in terms of the cachet of the quarterbacks, Brady and Jackson. We get an improvement in terms of the brand name quality of the teams, Buccaneers and Ravens. And we get the same old crappy Thursday night football game. 10-3 Bucks, 2:24 to go in the second. And the Ravens have the ball right now. Gus Edwards has 4 carries and 18 yards. This is like, if Gus Edwards doesn't hit his prop tonight, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I legit don't know what to tell you. Like, I analyze data. I look at the lay of the land going in, and that looked like a completely obvious tout. But here's what I mean by this. The Baltimore Ravens have thrown the ball 24 times and ran the ball 17 times. Like, what? They've run the ball for 150 plus yards in 6 straight games. 150 plus in 6 straight games on the ground. Tonight they have 27 yards on the ground, and we're almost at halftime. Okay, if you saw that coming, cool. You should have notified your boy. This is a 1,000-degree departure from who the Ravens have been this year. 1,000-degree separation. I mean, like, who are you? Are we in an alternative universe right now? Are we in the Twilight Zone? You've thrown the ball 24 times. You've run the ball 7 times. That's crazy. And Lamar Jackson has run the ball 2 times. 2 times. Okay, help me out. Help me out, folks. Huh? And they're losing, by the way. So this new model to throw the ball more and run the ball less is not working. At least not. Lamar Jackson's line coming in here was 60.5 rushing yards. Like, Lamar. I mean, he could rip off a 55-yarder. Boom, he's there with 1 carry, right? But he's at 2 carries and 1 yard right now. And his flow coming in for Lamar Jackson, I got so many pages with so many notes on them. But I looked at that and thought about Lamar Jackson over his rushing yard prop. But it was, let's see if I can find Jackson's flow right here. There it is right there. 17, 119, 107, 73, 58, 77, 59. Okay? He's been over 60.5 4 times out of the 6 games. Pardon me, 4 times out of the 7 games. And think about that. Since week 1, throw that one away. He has been at 58 yards or more on the ground for 6 straight weeks. And tonight, he's got 1 yard. One yard. It's crazy. You can't predict this stuff, man. We can try. We can think we have a good handle on it, and then the game happens, man. And then, so in the second half, you know what I'm looking for? In the second half, do we get an adjustment to the game plan? Do they come out and try to get back to running the ball and establish the run and do all that kind of stuff? You would think that they would want to do that. I don't know. Maybe a crazy idea. Maybe you get back to your identity. Maybe you get back to who you actually are. I don't know, though. Like, what we're seeing right now is like crazy. It's crazy what the Baltimore Ravens are doing. They have turned their entire operation inside out at the Buccaneers, and it's not working. All right. I don't know. I'm trying to help you guys out here. Godwin's at 3 catches, 61 yards. So he is getting up on his number right here. Mike Evans, 1 catch, 23 yards. Not so good. We had the over on him at 68.5. We had the under on Brady at 282.5. That one's looking good. He's been stuck on 102 yards for a while now. And we're at the 2-minute warning. The Buccaneers are getting the ball back, so Brady will have a 2-minute drill to do his thing. And, oh, look at that. Another drive failed for the Baltimore Ravens because they have completely changed their operation here for this Thursday night football game. And it's rather annoying, actually. Like, you think you have reads on teams. It's like over a 7-game body of work, almost half of the freaking season. And then you get Thursday night football, and it's a complete departure from everything you know by this football team. So, all right, we will come back. I'll read more of your comments. We'll keep updating you here on Mavs and Nets. We'll keep updating you on the Buccaneers and the Ravens as well, and giving you takes galore here with your boy Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Live.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
JL, I think this is the game everyone's been waiting for, and the moment in this game that we are probably going to have to talk about for at least the next 15 minutes. The Miami Dolphins took down the Buffalo Bills 21-19, and we got to talk about it. The play of the game, the butt punt.
The butt punt.
Punted straight into Trent Sherfield's abyss between his legs is where that
booty
football
patootie.
determined. It was straight up there. It could not have been aimed better up that Tuchus. Like, he just went for it. Like, you look at the picture, shout out USA Today photographer that caught that image, because wow, moment of impact, and you can really see just how well aimed between the cheeks that ball was. And Craig said, did y'all see Mark Sanchez's tweet to the punter? I did. Mark Sanchez tweets, stay out of my lane, bro.
That's pretty good.
I love all these self-aware tweets yesterday. Mark Sanchez, Orlovsky, like they're just coming in and like poking fun at themselves.
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff right there.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
Speaking of TV, last night I tried to watch Aaron Judge.
Did you watch the K-Rod broadcast?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Rodriguez?
Look, I went to ESPN Plus and I'm like, I want to watch this K-Rod thing because they had Roger Clemens and they had Barry Bonds on.
Nice.
At the same time, Bonds brought up when Clemens hit him on his piece of armor. And
Yeah,
Clemens
exactly.
like, oh, it was a strike, man. It was a strike.
No,
like,
Clemens was like, if you wear, and I don't blame Clemens, if you wear that thing, right, that piece of armor, and you on top of the plate like that, target practice. I'm gonna see if I can hit that joint.
But dude, it was, and he was. I mean, Clemens, like, it was a strike. Get off the plate is basically what he said.
Yeah, exactly. Get off the plate.
Can you imagine the three of them? Like, you're Michael Kay, and you're sitting there with Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez,
and Roger.
Three guys who should be in the Hall of Fame and are not. Like, who should have been like first ballot slam dunk Hall of Famers.
That's the problem. That's the problem with the game.
We should get them on the show. All three of them together on this show.
That'd be cool. Corey Nando and Friends. They're the friends.
They're the friends. I mean, why not, right? They seem like nice guys.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
I just started watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix last night, which I knew a
Well,
lot.
that looks pretty freaky, man. Is it as frightening and kind of eerie as it looks?
Yeah, it's disturbing. Like, there's no.
You think? He ate people, Ray. It better be disturbing to you.
I know the story. He ate people and I murders. I knew, but I didn't know he was drunk all the time. And
Well, Ray, I mean, we've all been there. You get the munchies when you're drunk. That would be actually a defense in court. Your Honor, I was drunk the whole time. I was hungry and I needed food and my neighbor was there.
Right.
What am I supposed to do?
I thought, and he had like beer cans all over his place. There was a lot of Miller and Bud. I guess he was not only was he a person of opportunity with the killings, he was a beer drinker of opportunity. Because I don't think you normally do one and the other. You should do one or the other.
I don't want to tell AB or Miller how to do their business, but don't go marketing that Jeffrey Dahmer loved your beer while he was eating kidneys.
All right, what's up, y'all? That was extreme fun with Kyle and Ray right there, talking about the Jeffrey Dahmer, I guess Netflix series or whatever it is. So I was flying. It's funny they went there. I was flying back to Tampa from San Antonio. Remember about 3 weeks ago, I had to go to San Antonio for the Spurs training camp coverage for us at SiriusXM NBA Radio. A lady sitting next to me on the plane was watching the Dahmer series on her phone. And I was working, like looking through box scores and, working, like literally prepping on the show and just getting smarter about the NFL and all that kind of stuff. And she was kind of wondering what the hell I was doing. And she asked me what I'm a radio host, I'm in sports. And so this is what I do, all that kind of stuff. And it was, and then I said, like, you're watching this Dahmer show right here. Like, I'm creeped out right now. And like, I wasn't, like he wasn't like eating arms and legs, like in the stuff that I watched, but I couldn't take my eyes off of this show because like what he did and what happened. Right. And so you're just kind of watching, like, are they going to go there? Are they going to go there? And it's all this like setup and all this backstory and stuff, but it was so creepy and so eerie. And you like, at any point you're like, is he going to eat this dude? Is he going to eat this dude tomorrow? Is he going to eat this dude right now? Or, oh, he's not going to eat this dude right now. Why didn't he eat this dude right now? The whole thing. It's like this whole mind boink that's going on in your head. And so I don't know. I'm busy watching games and stuff like that, but I kind of like, what's the I version of eavesdropped, right? It was kind of like watching a little bit like this is like a freaky looking show. And I don't know, I probably got through like one episode or something like that of watching off of this lady's cell phone. And I didn't see like any gore or any like real violence at all. It was all set up stuff, but it was creepy. Very, very creepy, man. We are in a situation here where the Ravens have the football back, folks. So that drive stalled out by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady is basically halfway to his passing yard number of 282.5. He's at 142 right now. Mike Evans has caught another ball, and we're now suddenly feeling very good about Mike Evans at 68.5. He's up to 51 yards. Godwin at 61 yards. And you know what's probably going to happen here. Justin Tucker from way outside, bang. And we're probably looking at a 10-6 here, but we shall see. I have good news for Dave Poland and my Spencer Dinwiddie over. He's up to 11, folks. He's come back here in the fourth quarter, and he's made 2 buckets, one of them a 3. He's up to 11 points in the game. Nicholas Claxton is at 7. So Dave Poland, a couple more buckets here by Dinwiddie, and then I'm home, and then you're home. And so we're looking good there all of a sudden. Dave Poland, what are you thinking about that? He said, phew, thank God. Yeah. And here we go. Marlon Humphrey, questionable return with a hamstring injury. I told you, I just dropped Marlon Humphrey today. Who did I drop him for? Dang it. I'm in so many leagues. But I dropped him in the series, I guess it is Sirius XM. Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio Dynasty League. It's an IDP league. My team is nuts this year. I'm 6-1, looking very, very good in this league, folks. And this is the league where you remember I orchestrated the monopoly on the San Francisco 49ers running backs, Wilson and TDP and Elijah Mitchell. And I had it all set up. And the only thing I needed to win a championship was a good running back. Made all those trades. I didn't have any of them at the end of last year. Literally manufactured a monopolized backfield, and then Christian McCaffrey traded. And yes, that sucks. But that's the team I'm talking about. I'm 6-1, rolling, and I still like my chances even with the mishmash I have at running back. But the cornerback that I picked up was Kobe Bryant of the Seattle Seahawks. You got to love the name, right? Kobe Bryant. It's spelled different. It's C-O-B-Y. But here's why I like Kobe Bryant, okay? Tackles. He's a tackle machine cornerback. Like, how many of those are there? Not many. And so he has been double digits in the fantasy points in 5 of the last 6 games, 15 the last game. He had 17 the week before. Like, the guy's a baller. And Kobe Bryant is the guy. Do you remember the Seattle and New Orleans game? And do you remember when Chris Olave got, in my opinion, kind of sort of gifted a touchdown because he caught it, and then Kobe Bryant whipped him to the ground, and his head went into the turf, and he got concussed. And that's why Olave got concussed. It was Kobe Bryant. And they gave him a touchdown. And I was like, and I have Olave. I was like, thank you. I'll take the touchdown. But he didn't survive the ground with the ball. He didn't. And it was because he was concussed. He was literally kind of like out in that moment. and did a good job of holding it and pinning it. And then like it just kind of, as he kind of like unfolded, the ball came out. So they gave him the touchdown, but that was Kobe Bryant just ripping him to the ground, like with hands and arms and strength. And I'm like, that guy's a badass, man. He played at Cincinnati last year. We know how good they were, right? He was the other cornerback opposite Sauce Gardner. And you say, damn, that team was good. You're damn right they were. They're the first and only non-Power 5 team to go to the college football playoff. And they actually showed out pretty good in the first semifinal game. I mean, second half, there was separation there, but like they kind of sort of hung in that game. They didn't embarrass themselves. I'll say that. Like Notre Dame did a couple of years ago when they got gifted that trip to the college football playoff. Do you guys remember that bull crap? When Texas A&M should have gotten into the college football playoff, but they were 5th and Notre Dame was 4th. It was all politics and BS for why Notre Dame got the nod over Texas A&M. Y'all remember that. Jalen's sitting another play-by-play nerve with me right here. I wish Collinsworth would retire. So irritating to listen to. I'll say I agree, but Jalen, but I will say this. Collinsworth is more palatable with Mike Tirico because Mike Tirico, A, I'm buddies with him. B, he's the man. Mike Tirico is on the Mount Rushmore of play-by-play guys right now. I'm such a play-by-play aficionado that I have to separate it with previous, like retired play-by-play guys and the current ones. And Mike Tirico, Ian Eagle, why am I blank? Joe Buck. They are on my current Mount Rushmore of play-by-play announcers. You say, who's your fourth guy, Cam? I can't remember right now. I don't have the list in front of me. I would probably give the nod to, off the top of my head, Mike Breen is that fourth guy. But he would be below the previous three, Ian Eagle and Mike Tirico and Joe Buck. Absolutely love those guys. I might even put Adam Amin on there. I really might. I'm there with Adam Amin. I have a huge affinity for Adam Amin and his play-by-play skills, his voice, ability to hit the high note. He understands all of the rules of all these different sports. Like he wrote the rule book. Like he's just a really, really, really sharp guy, man. He's entertaining. You can go down Joke Boulevard for just a moment. And my guy Jalen here is saying Brian Anderson is unreal. Jalen, that's where you and me are separating in the road. That's where you and me are parting ways in the road. Look, Jalen's going to be pissed at me, firing a comment at me. I like Brian Anderson. I like him. I don't love him. He's a baseball announcer calling basketball games. And he's, like a lot, baseball's about being smooth and mellow. And we got 162 of these. And let's not get too high and too low. And he can yelp a little bit. He can get with a live call. I don't dislike Brian Anderson, but he's not a standout guy like that. He is not. So we are officially at halftime here with the Buccaneers and the Ravens. I mean, again, like, wow. Oh my God, Amazon Prime. Are they getting their money's worth? I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's Bezos. He's got $850 billion, right? I mean, however many, it doesn't even matter, right? But these games are largely awful. The announcing team is awful. Like, it's just bad. This game sucks. 10-3 Buccaneers here at the half. Tom Brady is at 142. Like, there's really no stat change from the last time we talked. Edwards still on 18. Lamar is at 144. He's actually tracking for the over on his passing yards tonight because the Ravens have turned their operation inside out. So we'll keep you up to speed on this. But let's get into some NFL news here. Devontae Adams. We got to keep our eye on Devontae Adams here in advance of game time for the Raiders and the New Orleans Saints. And this game is in New Orleans. Oh, Kevin Durant is whapping them. 5 minutes to go. We're tied 103 Mavericks and Nets. This is the good stuff right here. Let me see where my boy Durant is at. He's at 28. 28 points, folks. We got to get to 28.5, and we were home with a winner there. Was that a Dinwiddie three? I think that was that a Christian Wood three? I think it was. But Dallas strikes back with a three of their own. This game is a lot of fun, folks. It really is. Kyrie has 30. Luka has 33 and counting. And Kevin Durant just hit the over, folks. Ring the bell. Kevin Durant just hit the over. Hit another. Wait, did he? They showed a hero shot of Durant right there. Maybe he did not. He's 9 of 12 from the field. My God, he's good. Oh, he's so good. So Durant, we are 1 point away, one little free throw away from him hitting the over on his number. Davante Adams. So he's got a bad flu, they're saying. But Tom Pelissero reports he's expected to play in Week 8 against the Saints. You're damn right. This is the NFL. I'm going to need you to play. There's no sitting out and all this kind of stuff. I remember many years back, Peyton Hillis missed a game with an ear infection. And I was like, I had such a problem with that. How do you, as an NFL player, miss a game with an illness? I understand you can't run. You can't lift your arms above your head. You got some kind of shoulder injury. Like, I get that. Illness? No. We got to be more creative than this. There's no calling out of work as an NFL player, especially a starter, right? If you're a special teamer, okay, whatever. You can't, like, back in my, corporate America days, right, which were brief, but I used to love calling out sick to work, right? I was not fully invested in my corporate America career. I will tell you that right now. I am fully invested in the sports media career. That's why I perpetuated it since the mid-1990s. I was unable to perpetuate a career in corporate America because I didn't want to be there. So thank you, God. He helped me get out, and I'm good in my lane. I'm good in this lane right over here. And so I used to like calling out, like not every day they'll fire you, but like here and there, you've got 10 sick days a year, 15 sick days a year. Well, I would use them. I would. Oh, boss, I'm not feeling good today. I got to take the day off. Your boy literally did that. What I would do is call my boss and I'd leave a message on his voicemail before he got to work. So he'd get to work and hear the voicemail. And then I would hope to not get the call back from the boss, right? Oh, man, what's wrong? And usually, like, okay, he called out sick. All right, cool. We'll see you tomorrow. And he wouldn't call me back. It was beautiful. It was awesome. It's exactly as planned. I don't want to call my boss and have to like fake a sore throat, right? You're on the phone. I'm under the weather today. If he's on the other line, then it's just different, and he may ask you a probing question, and he may get you caught in a lie or something like that. So that was the old game plan. Wake up early, leave a message on his voicemail, and then go back to sleep. Right? I mean, because it was early, and then if my phone was blowing up, okay, then I gotta call my boss back. But that was a decent little tactic by me. And I didn't even have to make up. The kid is sick, or my mom is sick, or I got a family emergency. No, I got the sniffles, man. It's corporate America. You got this built into your budget. I'll see you tomorrow. Deuces. And so for Davante Adams, yeah, bad flu, especially now. Like they can hook them up to IVs and all of these like replenishing and hydrating systems and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not like you and me getting all dehydrated, right? I'm drinking Gatorade and orange juice and all this crap. No, like they're literally going to like medically hook this guy up so that his body can function and go out there and kick ass on the football field. But it is something to monitor going forward. And, hopefully it's not reported now as a bad flu. And then we find out, God forbid, that it's COVID and he's in the health and safety protocols. Here's some news that was, very anticipated. But nevertheless, I think we've gotten sort of a firm, I mean, it's not firm, but it's like an all but firm and all but definitive look here at Alan Lazard of the Packers. He ain't going to play. And when I read earlier this week that his arm was in a sling after the game against the Commanders, and Matt LaFleur was saying, he's hurt. He hurt his shoulder. We'll take it. We'll play it out with the week and stuff. It all just didn't sound good. Didn't practice yesterday. Did not practice today. And now Alan Lazard said today that he probably will not play in Week 8. He told reporters that he heard a snap, crackle, pop in his shoulder when he was tackled in the third quarter last week. He ain't playing, folks. He ain't playing. And I have Alan Lazard in a bunch of leagues, so this is a buzzkill. I've had to make a lot of different moves. Wan'Dale Robinson's been one of my plug-ins. There are other options as well, but it's slim pickings at wide receiver, man. Paris Campbell is a guy that maybe you should look at to pick up and maybe even start. It's a leap of faith here with Sam Ehlinger, but it is a decent matchup. Marquise Goodwin. Juju Smith-Schuster, if he's out there on waivers. And you think about, like, why are you so high on Lazard? The guy scores every week, man, or almost every week. So it's not, I mean, the guy's getting in the end zone, right? He's Aaron Rodgers' number one guy. I know Aaron Rodgers sucks this year, but he's still Aaron Rodgers' number one guy. Anyway, hearing snap, crackle, pop probably sounds to me like a multi-week thing. Obviously, they want to play it close to the vest here with Green Bay this week playing Buffalo. You don't want to give them too much information, but look, Buffalo knows that they won't be facing Alan Lazard this week. It's a terrible matchup for Green Bay and made even more difficult with this injury. They don't know if Christian Watson is going to be able to play. It means you're relying on Romeo Doubs and Sammy Watkins and all these guys. It's just not good. It's probably the worst receiving core in the entire NFL. Folks, Buffalo's defense is number one in the NFL. Eye test, stat test, Planet X test, wherever you want to put a scope or a lens on this team and this defense, it's the best in the league. In yards allowed, they're the best in the league in terms of scoring at 13.5. It's a horrible matchup for everybody. Aaron Jones is a must play, right? Like you got to play Aaron Jones. But you don't have to play Dylan, and you don't have to play Tunyon, and you don't have to play all these guys. We are in Deebo Samuel watch zone here. I don't know if he's going to play this week, folks. Tomorrow is going to be critical for Deebo, whether he plays against the Rams on Sunday, and obviously a huge game. He did not practice yesterday. He did not practice today. And after calling him day to day, now Samuel has not practiced in either of the first 2 days. We are not trending in a good direction here. If he comes back, even limited tomorrow, I would feel a lot better about this. Full tomorrow, good to go. Just keeping him out. He's a little banged up, but he'll be out there. Limited, he's going to be slapped with the questionable tag, maybe even a game time decision. But just putting this out here that you are not out of the woods right now with Deebo Samuel playing against the Rams on Sunday. You're not out of the woods on this. So you got to look alive on this. Thankfully, it's not a London game where you got to wake up and change your whole Sunday schedule for it and all that kind of crap. But it's a really tough matchup against the Rams, who are kind of lame right now, but they're going to be all fired up. Coming off the bye, they're not playing that well. You know, they're going to have a new plan. They're going to have some new strategies and some new approaches and all that kind of stuff. And I'm talking more on offense than defense. The Rams' defense is very good. They're 8th against the pass, allowing 197 passing yards per game. They allow only 21 points per game. This is not a good matchup. And I have Jimmy G starting. And Matt Deutsch's, how many teams are in this league? I think it's 12, but it's a IDP Dynasty League. And I've got Jimmy G starting right now. I may actually have to go back to Russell Wilson. I have Jacoby Brissett as well. And Dak Prescott is my other guy. It's a 2-quarterback league. So if Deebo doesn't play, I'm probably going to fade Jimmy G. It's already a tough matchup. I don't like the matchup against the Rams, but okay, if you got Deebo and Ayuk and Kittle and you got CMC, all right, I'll roll the dice on that because, like I said, my other options are Brissett and Wilson. I'm not crazy about that, obviously. Not crazy about that at all. DeAndre Swift, he's back. It's not like officially official, but it's officially official. He's coming back. He's been practicing in full both days here, Wednesday and Thursday. He's back. And they were waiting the whole time. Here's the Luka line I've been waiting for this year. It's got 36, 9, and 10. I predicted he would have a 30-point triple-double average for the and win MVP. That's the kind of stat line we're looking for that, Luka. He's got a free throw to tie the game right here, and he hit it. 110, 110, 2:17 to go. Ooh la la, what a game. I'll get back to Swift here in just a second. Let me check Dinwiddie here. Where are we cooking here with Dinwiddie? We're not. He's stuck on 11. Come on, Dinwiddie, get a bucket or two. We may have to go to overtime to get Dinwiddie over his number. Kyrie Irving just turned it over. That was a horse crap pass right there. Durant, by the way, still stuck on 28. Come on, you got to give me Durant. I've been taking some bad beats here. I missed Nurkic the other night by 1 point. I missed Wiggins the other night by 1 point. There was another guy earlier in the week I missed by 1 point. And we're doing okay. We're still at 60% on NBA props, but like I've been taking a couple of bad beats this week. Give Durant the ball. Let's get that one home. Come on, let's get that one home. Kyrie, it's number 7. There he is. All right, Durant, ISO with Dorian Finney-Smith. Crossover left to right. Missed the bucket. But a foul is called under the basket. Oh, man, Durant had it right on his hand right there. Missed the shot. Freed himself for a nice open look. Kevin Durant's handles, man. The yo-yo, the crossovers, bringing it back into that wetter that he's got. This guy's ridiculous. Actually, what threw him off right there was a late poke in by Reggie Bullock, and Durant thought he was fouled. And they're going to show a replay on that. I don't know if he got fouled or not. But DeAndre Swift is back, folks. Now, I am seeing a lot of look, I'm not telling you not to start him, right? Okay, you got DeAndre Swift. You've waited this long. He's back. It's a home game coming off a bye against the Dolphins. Go ahead and put him in there, right? I'm not telling you not to play DeAndre Swift. But I'm also telling you not to expect, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders. I'm not telling you to expect that because the Miami run defense is being slept on. Everybody's got green light matchup, awesome matchup. Well, is it? Miami is 7th against the run, giving up 103 rushing yards per game. The run defense is excellent. And Miami is giving up 23.6 points per game, which is like kind of right in the middle. Okay. Like to me, it's a good matchup, maybe a slightly above average matchup. I do like that it's at home. Detroit plays better at home. But I just wanted to make that point. You're going to play DeAndre Swift anyway, but if he has 15 carries for 50 yards and doesn't score, you know why? Miami's pretty good at stopping the run. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But again, go ahead and play him. You're definitely going to play him, but keep that in mind. Here's Irving with a baseline jumper. It's off. Rebound to Hardaway Jr. of Dallas. They lead by 2 here. 1 minute to go. And Durant is still stuck on 28. It's interesting with him and Kyrie, man. Like Kyrie likes getting him up. Kyrie's not about deferring. Yeah, you're Kevin Durant. A lot of people think you're the best player in the world. I'm Kyrie friggin' Irving, man. Here's Luka to the cup. And Kevin Durant altered that shot. Oh, my God. Are they going to call goaltending here? He definitely hit that on the way up. Luka saying, score the bucket, score the bucket. That looked like a good block right there from Kevin Durant. All right, they're going to be in a 3.5 minute long review, so I'll dip out of that. But it's getting controversial at Barclays in Brooklyn. Check this out. Let me take one look at the replay right here. Luka up. Now, Kevin Durant swiped that on the way up. It did not hit the window yet. Let me take a look at the side angle here. Nah, that's a good block, man. That's like, how did the refs miss that? It's on the way up, ticked it with like his middle finger on his hand. Then it went off the glass. Then it went off the rim for a rebound. Like, this isn't even close right here. Yeah, Kevin Durant, that's a shot block right there, folks. That's a shot block. This should be, I guess the Nets got, I don't know how they do. I forget how they do this. So jump ball at half court, something like that. But this should not be a bucket for Luka in the Mavericks. It should not. So Jets offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur says the Jets would use the hot hand when asked about the Jets running back situation. He said, whoever's got the hot hand, you got to roll with it. Okay. Jets coach Robert Saleh, the head coach, said the team earlier this week said the team is going to take it slow with James Robinson. Saleh said Wednesday that Robinson would be a good complement to Carter and Ty Johnson following the injury to Breece Hall. I expect Carter to handle the majority of touches and carries this week, but James Robinson, if you really need him in a pinch, bye weeks, deep roster, 16-team league, I think he's going to get 5 to 10 touches, and if he plays well, maybe more. This is a great matchup for Carter and or the Jets running game. The Patriots are 25th against the run, giving up 136 yards per game. So we are almost out of time here, folks. Big thanks to our guests. We had Johnny BTV, we had Matt Donnelly, Bennett Carroll behind the glass, Anthony Rivera behind the glass. We thank them and all of you for hanging out with your boy Cam. Good. They took the bucket off the board for Luka, by the way. Good luck in all your bets. Enjoy the second half of Thursday Night Football. I'll see you tomorrow night at 7 Eastern right here on Bettor Sports Live.